One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Another dark night in the city. My prospects looking thin. The survival of the fittest. It's a law in the world I live in. I was not born to be a fighter, but now's the time I have to learn to keep my head above the water. Gotta play with fire, but not get burned. I gotta stand up, I gotta face
Good afternoon, everybody. I just got one question and one question only for any of you here. Speak for your family, speak for your friends. I have one question. Are you MAGA? You see, that may seem like a very simple question, but over the last 24 hours, I'm starting to wonder. Some of you guys might want to pick up your toes today because I'm not going easy. I have to wonder how many people who watch my videos, follow me on X, talk the big game, are really all in. Ask yourselves, talk amongst your friends, are you really all in? Because me personally, with 8-9 days to go, I am sick of the whining and the BS and the nipple hurting of MAGA people. Yeah, Trump supporters. I'm really over it. Some comedian gets invited onto a stage and makes a joke. A joke. Something Don Rickles, Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, Lenny Bruce, name 1,000 other comedians, Dave Chappelle, have been doing since back in the Shakespearean days. And you're allowing their faux reaction, their complete orchestrated BS to bother you, to wonder, oh my God, is it going to hurt Trump? I can't believe he said that because now there's some people who might not want to vote for Trump. Let me just be the one to enlighten you. If you're worried that a joke may cause people not to vote for Trump, then you're not all in. Just gonna say it. You gotta stop being afraid. The man took a bullet for you, and you're worried about a joke offending people? Seriously, man. Stop. If you can't take it, don't get on X. If you can't take it, don't watch the news. Ignore it. Go away. These next 8, 9, 10 days, whatever it is, ain't gonna be for you. You're not that person. Go vote and then turn off the TV and watch Golden Girls reruns. Don't turn on the news. Don't listen even to Fox. All they're gonna do is try to stir up shit at this point. They were prepared to, what you may not realize, they were preparing for something, anything to happen that they could pounce on. I told you what was going on. And it worked. It worked. Some of you actually got concerned. One guy emailed me and said he was unsubscribing because I wouldn't go after and tell people what really happened. I'm like, what really happened? The guy told the joke. Well, you didn't even show it on your show yesterday, so you were hiding news from us. You're like fake news. Sorry, I hadn't clicked the button yet. I was still showing my intro while that guy was giving his speech. But I don't think I have to explain. Hiding something from you? You're going to unsubscribe or unfollow me? Bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. I want to talk to people who are really all in. I want to talk to people who understand this is going to be theoretically bloody over the next 8-9 days. They're not taking any prisoners. They're not going to worry about who they offend. You are? Tell me how that could possibly be. Let me ask you a question. What the flip is your alternative? Oh my God, he said something bad and he's on Trump's event. What are you going to do? Stay home? Vote for Kamala? Seriously, what are you going to do? You mean it's not like Trump had somebody on stage and said, Christians aren't welcome here. Oh my God. Oh, wait a minute, that wasn't somebody. That was the other candidate. The other candidate, Kamala Harris, said Christians aren't welcome here. Talked about Puerto Rico that has a garbage problem, which even the media has talked about, versus the other candidate who says Christians aren't welcome. And you're concerned. You're worried. Because what? Why are you worried? Who cares? There are no undecideds. It's all fake at this point. So if someone heard that joke and they heard that line and they're deciding they're going to vote for Kamala, they were already going to vote for Kamala. Hate to tell you. They can come public now and pretend like, we were on the fence. No, they were going to vote for Kamala anyway. Let me ask you a question. Did that comedian's joke, I don't know, the biggest problem was he didn't defy God. He did deny Jesus. Did that joke all of a sudden make you want to pay 30, 40% more taxes? Did that joke all of a sudden say, you know what, maybe I should buy groceries and not worry about the prices? I don't know. Did that comedian's joke say to you, you know what, I like higher gas prices? Did that comedian's joke somehow convince you that 20 million newcomers was okay? I hope you realize right there I was telling a joke. Because if you believe all that, then you don't belong here. Somebody said, well, it doesn't mean unity. When did unity mean you couldn't tell jokes? I don't want any part of that unity. I still watch Mel Brooks movies. I like laughing. Comedy is fun. You know who doesn't like comedy? I'll give you one guess. Communists. Communists don't like comedy. So the way they got some MAGA supporters to get up in arms about a joke, they beat you. I just want to tell you, if you're in the foxhole next to somebody and they got upset because somebody told a joke, that person isn't someone you want to be in a foxhole with. That person is kind of light in the shoes. Oh, Barry, why could you say that about some people? I don't know. Did that comedian all of a sudden make you want to accept Transformers? None of it makes sense. I'm tired of reading tweets. Well, here's a good one. Oh, the tweet gave liberals something to talk about. Like they needed that. Like they put a bullet in the guy's head and you're worrying about it gave them weaponry and ammunition to talk badly about Trump. Get over yourself. I mean that in the most sincere of way. Understand this was premeditated. They went into this looking for that spark that they could use. I broadcast yesterday the entire event, except for when the lawyer or whatever it was got up and he started talking. But basically the entire 6 hours before YouTube said, oh, we made a mistake, sorry. 6 hours. 6 hours of content. Elon, RFK Jr., Tucker, Trump himself, Melania, Vivek. And you're worried about a joke? Seriously, are you telling me that you're worried about a joke? You're worried that Bad Bunny all of a sudden isn't going to endorse Trump. Guess what? He wasn't going to. You're 8 days out. If you were going to endorse somebody, you would have done it already. Oh, Ricky Martin. You really think Ricky Martin was going to endorse Trump? Come on, people. Let's do a little walk back last week.
You know, one other thing that you'll see next week, Caitlin, is Trump actually reenacting the Madison Square Garden rally in 1939. I write about this in my book. President Franklin Roosevelt was appalled that neo-Nazis, fascists in America were lining up to essentially pledge their support for the kind of government that they were.
And remember, this was last week. So they were already planting the seed. I played this for you when she said it. Now looking back on it, you see what happened here? You do see that this was a coordinated attack, and it worked. It was successful. It got some MAGA supporters to actually fall for it.
Seeing in Germany. So I don't think we can ignore it. Now,
all right, so that happened. And it was because of a joke. Hillary went out there and she told everybody, here's what's going to happen. And then the joke actually, was said.
Donald Trump said he was going to build a wall.
Oh, I'm sorry. This doesn't look like the guy who was on stage at the Trump rally. Is he going to make a so-called racist joke?
And George Lopez said, you better build it in one day, because if you leave that material out there overnight.
Interesting. George Lopez went to a Kamala Harris rally and said that don't leave your stuff out at night because the Mexicans will steal it. I didn't see anybody in the news freaking out about that. I didn't see one person, not one, saying it was the end of the world. A person went out and joked, a comedian, not that good of a comedian in my estimation, but a comedian who nonetheless went out there and said a joke making fun of a certain nationality. And people laughed, even at the Kamala rally. But I guess you're not allowed to do that at a Trump rally. You see how you've been had? You've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, gaffed in the throat. They knew what to do to you. They knew you were easy pickings. Listen to this.
But that jamboree happening right now, you see it there on your screen, in that place is particularly chilling because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler, packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally. A rally where speakers voiced anti-Semitic rhetoric from a stage draped with Nazi banners. When a Jewish protester rushed the stage, the Associated Press reported, quote, instantly, a dozen or more stormtroopers set upon him, knocking him.
So I got to tell you this. I edit and make a lot of videos. I do it basically for a living at this point. I understand that it now takes time to find footage, put it together, do the voiceover, get on camera, do the show, make sure the lights are working, make sure the microphone is working. Today I had a problem with the lights. I had to have my backup light put here. I understand what it takes to produce this. So I'm going to ask you. The rally started at like 2:30, but it went on well into the evening. How did they write this? How did they have this spot, this segment, ready to go with all these graphics researched in place, B-roll put together? How did they have all this ready to go at the moment's notice?
Down and beating him as he held his head in his arms. Most of his clothing was torn from his body. Later, he was booked for disorderly conduct. Now, against that backdrop of history, Donald Trump, the man who has threatened to use the military against opponents he calls enemies from within.
I don't know, where's the fact checkers? I mean, yesterday I saw, all kinds of websites had fact checkers as to what Trump has said. Nobody's fact checking this guy.
Who has threatened to use the troops to quell what he says are lawless cities and to use those troops to carry out mass deportations of immigrants.
No, he didn't say that. Do you recall him saying that? He's never said that. These people aren't immigrants. They just used the language to make you feel bad, which some of you felt bad. They're not immigrants. These newcomers, because I can't say what they really are because that would be problematic, but they can go ahead and say whatever they want. They can dish out whatever misinformation they feel could be useful to their side. I guess what we call that is a lie, but it depends on what side of the fence you are that lies.
Is once again turning Madison Square Garden into a staging ground for extremism.
So you are an extremist. He once again, you see, you have to understand when people write out scripts, what they're really doing is they understand the story they're telling. It's called storytelling. And as he wrote this script, or whoever wrote it for him, they said, we need to tie this into 1939. And he did it so smoothly with his words. Once again, meaning the same as before, it turned into a rally of extremism. Just rolled off his tongue. It was so easy. And then today, they all followed suit. They all just jumped in line with their choreographed symmetry to make y'all seem like, you won't believe what these Trump supporters did.
Worth noting that while we showed you that joke about the pile of garbage that comedian made, he also said something else about Latino voters that I can't play because I know a lot of you are probably at the breakfast table with your little kids, and if we played it, you'd have to shut us off.
No, your junk is what we should shut off. I don't know if you guys remember what he said about Latino voters. It was a sexual innuendo. That used to be fun. People used to laugh at those. And now we're supposed to be prudish? Oh my God, he said something about sex. He made a joke about sex and Latinos. Weren't Latinos like, Lucille and Ricky Arnaz, whatever, Desi Arnaz, weren't they considered, wasn't he the hot Latin lover? Way back in the 50s? And now we're just supposed to assume, oh my God, he said something about Latinos and sex, and I can't even play it because my little Shirley muffin here would be all upset. It's fake. It's to make you feel bad because you might have laughed, and you and your comedy. Do these people not remember Richard Pryor? Do they not remember Chevy Chase? Do they not remember Bill Cosby? Although he wasn't dirty, he still made fun of things. Did they forget who Red Fox was? I could give you 1,000,000 of them. But it's like they don't want these, snowflakes to have any idea that there used to be this thing called comedy. And sometimes it was really freaking raw. And we listened to their albums because there wasn't an internet. We would go down in a basement and oh, that's so funny. My mom loved Flip Wilson. Flip Wilson was dirty as hell when he wasn't on stage. My dad thought Richard Pryor was the funniest thing ever. Neither my mom or my dad were extremists. Far from it. I was probably the extremist in the house. Many of your family members, uncles, aunts, grandparents, listened to some real funny stuff. You remember, I don't know, Joan Rivers? Oh, that's right. She's no longer with us because she made the mistake of making a joke about a certain former first lady. So they say. How about Phyllis Diller? There's a woman comedian. How about Lucille Ball? How about Carol Burnett? They made innuendos, and now we're supposed to believe that everybody is clutching pearls. And their fifis hurt.
Because it was so incredibly crude.
If it was, trust me, if it was so incredibly crude, the guys who run this place here would have shut it off.
It's a family program, and we're just not going to do it.
It's not a family program. This woman comes on at 6 o'clock in the morning. And if your family gets together to watch CNN News at 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe there's something you need to do about your family.
But let's also go.
This guy. You know what's coming, and you don't even know what he's about to say. You know it's coming where he's about to say, racism.
What Donald Trump himself said last night, that some of the black men groups that I've been debating about why they can't be with Trump, he said, I could be laying out in the beach with my white skin getting tanned.
Oh my God. Oh. As a black man, I am offended that a white man would want to go out and get a tan. I live in South Florida. I may never get to go to the beach again because there will be white people out there trying to get tans, and what they're actually saying is, Barry, I'm sorry, we're going to offend you. But some of them might be whipping women with boobies and stuff, and I don't mind if they get, half naked and get in front of the sun. Oh, nope, you're not recognizing it. Those are really bad women. They're offending you. Don't you realize that? They shouldn't be out in the sun. But tan boobies are good. You can tell my wife's not here, huh? This is ridiculous.
I mean, this is Donald Trump's mouth saying this. So I said to those on the fence, this is not a real racial signal. My pretty, white, beautiful, white skin.
Yeah.
Donald.
I don't know. If I went out, well, I can't really say black. How about if I went out with my somewhat brown skin and got a nice tan on the beach and it was glistening in the sun and I had coconut oil and I got a tan with my brown skin. Are you offended? Does that make your fifi hurt? Yeah, I'm just saying. And I had people who actually emailed me complaining that a joke may have hurt something. And this guy's talking about taking a flippin' tan on the beach as being racist.
Trump said this last night at his homecoming.
The greatest resorts in the world. I could have been extremely happy. I could have had those beautiful waves smack me in the face. I could have had the beautiful suntan. This white skin could have been tan and beautiful.
Oh my God, I can't believe my ears heard that. You need to apologize to all your black friends right now. If you've gone to the beach and you've had white skin from being cooped up during a winter and you unveiled that white skin on the beach, understand what you did. You offended all of us black people by going to the beach. And I know you did it on purpose because you bought the suntan lotion and you're trying to appropriate my color. It's really offensive. Said no black person ever.
So when people said that this was like reminiscent of the supremacist rally in 1939, the Nazis, I think that it lived up to that.
I think a lot of people are seeing that rally at Madison.
A lot of people saw this rally and they didn't like what they saw.
Madison Square Garden, seeing all those people doesn't mean he's going to win the race. But my point is, it's discouraging that so many people would gather and rally to hate.
When I did my program yesterday, I broadcast for 6 hours. My white wife was out in the other room. My half-white daughter was answering comments. We were going through, and I'm sure there were some black people here. Did you guys know you're all hate-filled idiots? Because that's what they're saying. They don't mean it. It's meant to be weaponized to make you feel bad, but that's what they're saying. And I'm telling you, based on my emails and comments on X, it worked to a certain extent.
Hate speech in America, that it's discouraging and it hurts that people.
It hurts. It actually hurt that he said Puerto Rico is a S-hole.
People who have family in Puerto Rico, who are Puerto Rican Americans, who are American citizens, are hearing hate like that.
Can somebody cue the Sarah McLachlan music? You know the music when they show the dogs in cages? Yeah. It takes a lot of effort to be this much of an actress. To get on stage with the lights and everything else, with 4 other people, and act like you're really bothered that somebody said a joke. Maybe she should ask the guy she's married to what he did with his assistant or whatever a few years ago. Wonder if that would offend her. Wonder if she ever asked, Kamala, are you okay that Doug knocked up the nanny? What did you think about that? Because, oh my God, it's awful. Or that he beat up one of the other ones. How do you feel about that? Nope, not a single question. Not a word.
It's discouraging, Joe. And I do want to show Michelle Obama in Kalamazoo, but I just think it's important to look at the situation. And it's not just, oh my gosh, about the race. It's, oh my gosh, how did we get here?
I'll tell you how we got here. We got here because Obama, both of them, Hillary, bunch of your other people, one of them who's coming up, decided to say that everything a Republican does is offensive. That's how we got here. With you guys pointing a finger and saying, oh, that's offensive. Oh, you dead named me. Or you misnamed me, whatever. Oh, everything. Oh, you walked on the crosswalk that we painted in rainbow colors. You actually walked on that. You know what that means? It means you're a hater. Enough with weak MAGA. As I wrote right there, enough with weak MAGA. If you can't see through this stuff and understand these people are engaging in psychological warfare against you, your friends, your family members, they are working very hard to basically gaslight you and brainwash you. It's in effect turning you into an MK Ultra subject. They are doing everything they can, and it's going to get worse in these last 9 days. Oh, this is just the start. I have told you, and I have told you, and I've told you, get ready. I've told you to prep, I've told you to get ready financially, and I've told you to get ready mentally. But too many of you didn't. You didn't have the armor of God on, and you saw what was happening, and you freaked out. Why would that have happened if you were prepared? Why would that have happened if you've prayed about what's going to be going on in these next 8-9 days and then afterwards when Trump wins? You see, now, if you're not prepared now, you are not going to be ready for what happens on November 6th on. You think it's bad because a comedian told a joke? You ain't. I'm telling you right now, you might want to go build a cabin somewhere away from the water or find a cave and just hole up until maybe January 20th. Take your family with you because you ain't ready. If a comedian's joke made you feel that bad and worried about Trump, you ain't ready. I'm just going to say that. Speaking of not ready, let me just do my quick thing for Lear Capital. If you aren't ready and you have not as of yet put your stones together, get all your ducks in a row, now would be the time, because now you're seeing what these people are preparing to do. And it just seems like you're not prepared to counteract what they are doing. Not all of you, but if your mind's not right, then probably your finances aren't right either. And now you got 9 days before the election, and then after that is when the fight really begins. So listen to this. If you see what's going on in the world right now and what may happen here in America, you may want to prepare and pay attention. You know that Lear Capital is a big supporter of this show. If you want to be protected in the event that things go off the wall, I advise you to look into buying gold and silver. We are all just one catastrophic event away from the value of the American dollar plunging. Do you know what's not plunging? Gold and silver. In fact, gold hit an all-time high recently. In fact, I think it hit it again today. I'm telling you now, make sure that you have some form of your money invested in precious metals. Lear Capital will ship your gold or your silver coins directly to your house. It's not just a certificate. You can store them in your gun safe, or you can store them off-site in a 24-hour protected facility. It's totally up to you. But when things go crazy here, or across the world, the value of the American dollar is going to decline. It's inevitable, and it might not even take a war. We may do it to ourselves. And I mean, if the Federal Reserve plays around with interest rates, the US dollar will likely decline in value as well. Meanwhile, you'll see gold and silver continue to rise in value. If you call Lear Capital, they will take the time to educate you and answer all of your questions about gold and silver. Just give them a call at 800-601-5430 or go to Learberry, that's me, Learberry.com, to download your free de-dollarization report. You should know that Lear Capital is an American company. If you call them today, you'll be speaking with people right here in the United States. Now is the time to take action. Don't wait until after the election. That could be too late. We all want Trump to be elected. But if he isn't, or if they find a way to steal it, you'd better be prepared. Call 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. And when you call, ask them how you can get up to $15,000 in bonus gold with a qualifying purchase. There's absolutely no obligation to buy anything. Just free information on protecting your hard-earned dollars with gold and silver. You know, when you think about it, you're actually not buying anything. You're simply going to be exchanging dollars for gold, moving currency. Give them a call today. Tell them Barry sent you. So a quick programming note before we continue. I had this planned as part of my 2 o'clock show where I start going over things that have happened, more of a newsy type thing. And we found out that Trump, an unscheduled, nobody knew it was happening. He's doing a faith-based panel in Powder Springs, Georgia. So if he comes on, he was supposed to come on at 2:30. If he comes on, we'll cut directly to that. And then tonight at I think it was 6:30 or 5:30, it's posted. We have a rally coming from Atlanta. I don't know how he's going to follow last night's rally, but he plans on doing another rally tonight, which I will cover. So let me continue with the warfare that you're involved in. You may not realize it, but you are. In fact, I looked at one of the comments while the Lear Capital spot was running, and somebody's like, why would you bother showing this? I'm showing it for one reason and one reason only. I look at it as a scouting report of the enemy. Because if you don't know what the enemy is doing, then you don't know how to fight the enemy. As a former football player, I knew I had to watch a crapload of film. I don't care about the other team, but if I wasn't prepared and saw what the guys were doing on the field, I would know how to prepare. If there was a guy faster than me, what did I have to do? If the guy was stronger than me, what were they going to do when I met with them on the field? If you don't see what they're doing to you right now, you are not going to be prepared to fight the rest of the way. You're going to put your head down and think it's all over on November 5th, and it's just starting. I'm telling you, it's just starting. These people play for keeps. And yesterday, as I've said, some of the email and comments I got were from people who thought it was damaging. They really did. And the only poll at this point that actually seems to have any sort of real traction, because all the other polls are complete BS, is this. His numbers actually went up after the so-called Nazi rally. He's burying her. He's up by 32 points in the polling market. He's still ahead in every single swing state. We are a week out, people. You're a week away, basically. So there's nothing that's really going to sway the polls that much. Now it's all going to be mind games. Now it's all going to be, how can I get these people to either feel discouraged, not show up, maybe flip their votes, maybe expose something. The October surprises didn't work. We're almost at November. And so now they're coming for your mind. They are coming for your mind. One good way to realize this is you wouldn't act like this if you were comfortable and ahead. You wouldn't be doing this kind of stuff on television and screaming at the top of your lungs and having pre-written and pre-scripted videos. You wouldn't do that because you know you're doing well. But they know what's coming. The title of this thumbnail was, "No one can stop what's coming, and the retribution is on the horizon." These people know what that retribution is going to be. At this point, people in Trump's camp have stopped playing games. I don't know if you saw the 60-minute piece last night where they had Tom Homan on. I can't show it because 60 Minutes can't show their stuff. But I urge you to search for it. And it was a thing of beauty. The 60-minute reporter says to Tom Homan, it's going to cost this much money to basically deport all these people. This is going to happen, and we're going to do all this. And how are you possibly going to deport people? And how are you going to separate, children from their parents and blah, blah, blah? And he looked right at her in the face. And he gave her an answer that showed he's on his game. She goes, how can you prevent these families from being separated? He goes, that's real easy. Deport them all. And she looked like she saw a ghost. I swear he said that, and I was like, oh, there you go. I'll say it again. So, if we deport these people, you're going to break up the families. How can you do it and make sure the families aren't deported? And he looked her right in the face and went, that's easy. Deport them all. Trump's people are taking no prisoners. Trump's prisoners know, Trump's team at this point knows they're coming in. And they're not listening to the media. In fact, he's going after the media. Count on it, and they know it. So they've got to fight back, and the only way they can at this point is by turning on their cameras and absolutely lying to you and trying to scare you.
How did we get here where a stadium of people come to hate? That's a different country, a different time.
You know how you get past that?
How do you get past that?
Work harder, vote,
yes,
and win.
He actually just told the truth. That's how you get your agenda put in place. Work hard, vote, and win. They ain't playing around. They're trying to basically incentivize their base by throwing fear at them and everything else, saying, hey, listen, you want this to happen? You better get out there, vote, work it, and win. Our people, some, are concerned that some people are upset.
That's how you get past it.
This was a hate rally.
So they trumpet out all the race baiters, all the grievance hustlers. She was on 2 different segments.
This was not just a presidential rally. This was also not just a campaign rally. I think it's very important for people to understand that these are mini January 6 rallies.
This is very important for people to understand. What people? Who are you trying to convince? Obviously, for the most part, their audience to get them pissed off, get them all riled up, but it's also to chip away at Trump people.
These are mini Stop the Steal rallies. These are rallies to prime an electorate into rejecting the results of an election if it doesn't go the way that they want. Because Donald Trump and that entire cadre of people up on that stage, Stephen
The entire cadre, everybody,
Miller, etc., do not respect the law of the United States of America. And they either want to win this election or they are using rhetoric of taking it by force.
Mm-hmm. So what does that do? That she's looking to ignite people. She's hoping someone else will crawl through the grass with an AK-47. You guys have got to stop the Hitler Youth. And it ain't working. But they're going to keep trying.
That is what they mean, and that's what they're doing when they are inciting violence and hatred against Latinos, against Black Americans, against Americans who don't have children.
What? Who's inciting violence against Americans who don't have children? Who's inciting violence against blacks? And who's inciting violence against Latinos? She vomited out of her mouth, and they're letting her say whatever she wants. Why am I showing this to you? Because these people are playing for keeps.
You have J.D. Vance literally talking about watering down people's right to vote.
Literally. So I'm not sure she understands the definition of that word. So if she says J.D. Vance literally said that, then that means he said those exact words. He didn't.
On if they can viably carry a child or not. We have to understand how unhinged this campaign has gotten, and the only reason that the rhetoric has gotten this far is precisely because they are trying to prime the kind of froth that led up to the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
See, nothing Trump, RFK Jr., Tucker, Vivek, nothing they're saying is what they really feel. All it is what they're trying to do is say that our people are doing what they're doing. They're saying that Trump's people are all having a mind game with us. What we really want and what Trump really wants is for people to go nuts. just absolutely go crazy. Not change the country back to where it was, not to get better grocery prices, not to get better gas prices, not to do anything to help your family, but to try and overthrow the government.
Capital. And so it's very important that we connect those dots.
Look at the people sitting there. They know she's full of it, but they're being told this is what you have to do.
And right now, the campaign is scrambling, and they're trying to blame this rhetoric on a so-called comedian. This is not a comedian. This is the Trump campaign. They invited this rhetoric on their stage for a reason. It was a chorus of speakers on that campaign for a reason. It was vetted, and they knew exactly who was going to say what before they went on.
So she took an entire 6-hour swath of people, and she's saying, no, it was nothing to do with this joke. Okay, thank you. You've discounted the joke. It wasn't the joke. Oh, but the entirety of the program, every single speaker was just there to basically incite violence.
And so the only backtracking that they're doing right now is just because tens of thousands of Puerto Ricans happen to live in Philadelphia, Florida, Michigan, Wisconsin, and also the several swing seats in the House of Representatives that run through the state of New York, and they're just realizing that they might have made a big error by.
Have you seen anybody backtracking? Other than a few Trump supporters? Have you heard Trump backtracking? You heard Byron Donalds backtracking? Tucker? Vivek? RFK Jr.? Tulsi? Who's backtracking? Tell me who she has seen that is backtracking. I'm doing just the opposite. I'm telling you right now to push forward unabashedly and don't even think that there was any issue on that stage last night. None. Because I'm telling you, if it wasn't this comedian, it would have been Rudy. See, I don't know if you remember what Rudy said, and Rudy went after the pro, anti-Israel people hard. That would have been basically stage 2. That would have been plan B. They would have said, oh my God, he brought Rudy out there, and Rudy just went after, the people who put the scarves on. But they said, oh, this one might be better. This will get people all riled up. No, it's not. There's nobody backtracking. She just completely made that up. Completely.
Saying out loud what they're thinking.
You are watching a rally from Madison Square Garden with former President Donald Trump, where we are hearing scores of lies from the.
Scores. Who are you telling this to? There were literally tens of millions, and I'm saying the word literally on purpose, there were tens of millions of people, Trump supporters predominantly, who were watching streams all over the place. I had nearly 500,000 here. Thank you very much. Everybody was watching it. Who are these scores of people? Oh, that's right. It's the media.
Former president. He has come on stage and said a number of things that are just not true, starting with a number of things on immigration. He repeated his lies that there was no relief money for victims of the hurricanes in North Carolina.
See, she should get out of her studio more often. She should talk to my wife. She should find out and talk to all you who donated here for Samaritan's Purse. And talk to some of the victims. Maybe do a remote. Take your camera crew and go up to Asheville. But instead, it's easier for you to try and refute everything because Trump said people weren't getting aid. Has she not ever logged on to X? There are just scores of people, as she said, scores, who are telling you on a video that you won't show anywhere that we've been stiffed by the government. But they just want to say it on television because it's a mind play.
Florida and other states, because he claims that the government gave it all to migrants and that there was none left. That is patently untrue.
What do you mean it's patently untrue? Have you not seen the budget? There was nothing in our budget for emergency disasters that said, we can dip into this and pay off some of this stuff to the newcomers. They just put their hands in it and took it out. So if their money wasn't there, but it was there, but then it was missing because it was reallocated over here. What do you mean? How's it patently false?
I had to set up a website to debunk that, and some people have not gone and gotten help that they needed.
Oh, it's their fault. Oh, stupid me. She actually said that. She actually said that live on the air on CNN. The people have not gone and gotten the help that they needed. Man, there's some people up in the hills would like to have a word with this woman. On second thought, don't do your remote up there, because if people heard what you just said, you may not come down off that mountain. It's their fault. They haven't taken advantage of it. They haven't the audacity.
Because of those lies. He also repeated another lie that in Springfield, that thousands of immigrants were dumped in Springfield, Missouri illegally.
I don't know. Are they citizens? I mean, people actually listen to this shit. They flew them in, they dropped them in, and you're telling people it didn't happen. And you're going to use some lame technicality and call it the temporary protected thing, which they just labeled these people. In any event, you still dropped off tens of thousands of people.
In fact, the city website says that Haitian immigrants are there legally under the Immigration Parole Program, and that
I believe that this woman doesn't know what she's actually saying. She's reading the entire thing. She's not even looking at the camera. She's looking down. Oh, they're actually there legally because Joe and Kamala said it was legal. Are they from there? I just like to know. They just showed up in town. Who asked them? Who said come on in? Trump just landed in Georgia now, so he's way behind. So we'll get to that. Who asked these people to basically come to their town? Not the people.
They independently chose to move there.
I hope you're seeing this. I hope you're. I'm going to take all your not all, but I'm going to take a bunch of comments. And I stop these things because sometimes they flow right through and people don't listen. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's reading a script. Her eyes haven't looked up from this piece of paper where the propaganda she was handed, she has to spout. I'm looking right in the camera. I'm not holding a note and saying, oh, the people, they were invited to be here. And just look at her.
They were not sent by any program. Again, we have heard number of lies. He also started talking about the fact that he thinks Kamala Harris would put a draft in place. It's worth noting there is no active draft in place. He has also talked about the economy.
The economy's a lie. And someone's thought, her words, he's talked about, Kamala putting a draft in place. Of course there's not one now. Doesn't mean she wouldn't or couldn't or that he couldn't. That's not a lie.
When a number of economists have pointed out that the tariffs that Trump continues to talk about and want to put into place would harm the American economy.
So this is one of the things that's really bothering them. And just like the 51 intelligence officers who signed, the letter that said that such and such was a fake laptop from Russia, you can get all these economists all you want to sign whatever thing you need them to sign. She just said a group of economists. Why don't you go back and look at what the tariffs did? You don't have to wonder what these economists say. Oh, you have to, because you have no idea what you're talking about.
And truly harm American consumers who would see the prices of goods go up. And that
no, they would see the prices of goods from those countries go up. They never say that part. They never say, hey, listen, if you were to buy this and it's made in Korea, it's probably going to be more expensive. But if you somehow buy this one and it's made by an American company, does it do the same thing? Can I take pictures? Can I make videos? Can I make a telephone call? Yeah. Oh, then my price didn't go up. You see, they equate you basically having to choose as it being somehow bad. Man.
Are real concerns about what those economic policies could lead to.
Unbelievable.
We like those.
All right, so Lou Valentino, who's got a YouTube channel, he's Puerto Rican, went out and started talking to people who were Puerto Rican, who were at the rally, who actually heard the joke. See, that's another thing. I just showed you basically almost 40 minutes of news people talking. Did you see one person on the ground? Did you see one? I mean, there was 20,000 inside, 90,000 or so outside. Did you see one reporter? Hey, so that comedian said some bad things about Puerto Rico. What do you have to say about it? Nope. You know why? Because they would have been embarrassed. They're playing a game of psychological warfare. And, you know, this part here, Lou was actually on the ground.
We like jokes.
We do. And we understand the importance of a comedian having the freedom to push the envelope, because that's always been what has separated comedians from like everyday folks, right? Where they can push the envelope to either make you laugh or make you think or challenge you, right?
Pero, because obviously we're such proud Puerto Ricans.
I just got back from Donald Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden. I'm a Jewish New York Republican, and I have seen the mainstream media calling this a Nazi rally. And that couldn't be further from the truth. There were so many Jews there, just like myself. There was Israeli flags, and nearly every single speaker talked about their commitment to upholding the relationship between U.S. and Israel. Not to mention all the Latinos for Trump, gays for Trump, and nearly every other group that would have never been allowed in if this was actually a Nazi rally.
They can't get away from that. Notice the shots they showed of the rally were from a distance. Just like up in the rafters. Look at all these extremists. But they didn't show you the Israeli signs and the Jews in the audience and the black people in the audience and the white people in the audience. No, it was just one big group of cesspool of hate.
Kamala Harris could literally bring Adolf Hitler on her stage, and the mainstream media still wouldn't call it a Nazi rally. Their lies are futile. Trump is winning this election in 9 days. Make sure you get out, vote early, and vote for Donald Trump.
Hey, we heard that Nazis were supposed to be here. That's what Hillary Clinton said, so we out here to see.
A black guy at a Nazi rally. I'm pretty sure that would not have been acceptable to Adolf.
Have you seen a Nazi today?
We are the Nazi party. Yes.
No, I'm white though.
I'm the Nazi right here, yes.
Yeah.
Dominican Nazi.
Dominican Nazi. Latina Nazi. We got...
Oh, I'm the black Nazi.
Black Nazi.
The biggest blackest Nazi you ever seen in your life.
I'm the Jewish Nazi. The Jewish Nazi. Hey, listen, I'm the cool Nazi.
I'm the white Nazi.
I'm Mr. Cool himself.
They can't take real people. They don't understand real people. It doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't fit the box. And the reason for this entire video today, this show, this 2 o'clock show, was to let you guys know you're being bamboozled. Those of you out there who emailed me or posted something on X about, I'm not really sure what happened here. It's going to hurt him. It's giving... That was the best one. It's giving the media ammunition against Trump. Somebody actually posted that. Think about that. It's giving the media ammunition against Trump. See, I understand the news. I understand every one of those talking heads that were out there told to read a script, who had basically planned what they were going to say in advance. Didn't matter who was on stage. They were going to attack this the same way. I understand that. But what I don't understand are people who call themselves MAGA. People who call themselves Trump supporters, who succumbed to this. Now, I understand we're all human. Don't get me wrong. I understand we are all human. That's the only reason why I decided to respond to this. Because if you're just human and you're prone to fear, understand people are going to use that fear against you any possible way they can. You have to seek the strength in numbers. That's why I have that forum. I have that forum so it's a safe space. We do our videos here. We've got a nice family and community of people who comment. If you're feeling as though it's working on you, reach out to somebody. Don't freak out. You may need to talk to somebody. This isn't going to be easy. I don't want you freaking out. I don't want you having fear. I want you just completely compelled to make sure that this man gets into office with the team he has selected, and I don't need any doubt in the back of your mind. I want you to know and feel comfortable when you're on that line with 1 second left and you got to shoot that free throw. You can't be thinking, what happens if I miss? If you're facing a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, you can't stand there and think, what if it hits me? Because that little piece of insecurity turns you into a loser. And I hate to be the one to tell you, I never went into any single game. I didn't even go into any practice thinking that the person in front of me was going to beat me. No coach I've ever met, nor would I want to meet anyone who says otherwise, would say, you know what, you're going to have a tough go tomorrow. This kid might be better than you. No. You know what? This is going to be a tough fight, but I think you got it. I need you to give everything you can because I think you're better than this kid. I think you're better than this. I think you got this. I think you should have unshakable confidence. And if you don't have unshakable confidence, then lean on somebody who does. There are, I don't know how many thousand people were here yesterday, how many thousand people are going to see this video, how many thousands of people are in my little X group. Lean on people. Instead of saying, oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. Fear kills. Worry is a sin. Yesterday, let me just tell you something, and I texted this to Ashley. She can tell you the truth. My dog's probably going to bark because Robin's coming in. My favorite passage in the Bible is Matthew 6:25-34, and it specifically tells you not to worry. Don't worry. Everything's going to be okay. God has this. If you believe in God, God has this. So last night when my stream went down, I didn't freak out. I'm like, if this is it, if this is the end, then this is what he wanted. And I'll just move on to something else. But then all of a sudden it came right back on. Nothing I controlled. There wasn't a single button here that I did. You guys all saw it. At one point I turned my head and went, is this thing on again? Is this really just on? Yeah. And then I got the emails after I, sent things over to YouTube. I sent a copy to Ashley. Scout's honor. The replies I got threefold, 3 times from YouTube. We can't find an issue. We don't know what happened. Everything's fine on our end. No, we're a long way away from fine. Things shut off. We don't see anything. We don't see anything wrong. We put an engineer. We don't know what happened. I'm like, it went off is what happened. There was a notice that said policy violations. Sorry, sir. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing in the record. Nothing in the logs. Everything's fine. I let God take care of it. I didn't freak out. When things are out of your control, give it to someone who's controlling it. That's what I wanted to tell you guys today who are all freaking out. And I'm looking at this arena right now that, I'm not sure if he's going to go directly to that arena or is he going to go to the church because he was supposed to do an event at 2 o'clock. They may have blown that off and said, listen, we're running late. We're just going to do the 4 o'clock one and we'll just keep going. When he starts talking, we'll take that event. But don't freak out.
Here, baby.
He's the white
Nazi.
Nazi.
Hey, he's the white Nazi.
White Nazi. He's the all united here to make Donald J. Trump the 47th president of the United States.
Look at their faces. They look afraid? Do they look afraid?
Stop listening to the media.
There it is right there. Stop listening to the media. See, none of this would have happened. Not a single email, not a single comment, nothing would have happened if you didn't listen to the media. That is it in a nutshell. Don't listen to the media. And if it's too much of a hassle, if you're feeling too compelled to turn on the TV, even Fox, go hands off. Watch old Gilligan's Island reruns. I don't care. The PSYOP is in full effect, and it's here to poison your mind, to get you off your game, to get you thinking something else. It's horrible what they're doing to Americans right now.
I've already had a few people tag me in the videos of the comedian today at the Trump rally insulting Puerto Rico, or what they felt like was an insult. As a Puerto Rican American myself, my dad grew up in Puerto Rico. I was not insulted by this in the very least. Number one, this guy is a comedian. Number two, the clip that they don't show you from right before that is him joking with Latino Americans about a bunch of stuff in our culture. And if you know anything about a Latino American or Hispanic American, we are our worst critics. We harass and make fun of each other. Or if you gave two shits about Puerto Rico or learned anything that's going on there, you would know that this guy's not talking about Puerto Rican people. He's talking about the island of Puerto Rico, which has a massive pollution problem. Tons of trash washes up on this beach every single day, and it looks like a landfill. And there's been a huge problem there since the last hurricane. You know, the one that wiped out people's houses that they did nothing to help with? What a cheap shot they're trying to make while Kamala Harris is at a African-American church in Pennsylvania with a whole new accent she picked up today. But guys, it's not working. It's just not working. Don't come after us Latino Americans, and definitely don't come after us Puerto Rican Americans, because we ain't here for your guys' bullshit.
Strength. I have my mic off. The strength that she's showing right now should be infectious. This is what you should be thinking right away. Fight, fight, fight. Be strong, be strong, be strong.
New York City is turning red. Trump will be the next president of the United States, and you guys are going to have to learn how to live with it. And if under some miracle, even though he's winning in every single swing state he isn't, we're going to stay here and we're going to fight for the next 4 years to get our country back, no matter what happens, because God only knows we'll be in the middle of World War III by then.
Live from the garden,
the rally was great.
Puerto
Trump
Ricans
is the
for
best.
Trump 2024.
Yo, now that I got my fellow Puerto Ricans, obviously what happened there tonight, everybody's talking about it.
Epic.
But the Puerto Rican joke.
This is Lou Valentino.
The garbage island stuff. Do you guys even give a f*** about
No,
I don't.
No, I don't. I don't even pay a mind. I don't even pay attention to
I don't. Puerto Ricans for Trump. Lock in. Stay locked in on the go. Y'all already know, my boy. I told you guys. So
why are you upset? So why are you concerned if you're one of the ones that are concerned? Ignore it. Move on. Get it out of your head. Vote. The only thing you can control, the only thing that you can control is your vote and your mouth and your keyboard. Don't give in to the BS and start sending people messages about, oh my goodness, that was so horrible what Trump said. Oh my goodness, how are we going to deal with that? I'll tell you how I'm going to deal with it. I'm just going to ignore it. Doesn't mean anything to me. I know that they're desperate. I feel comfortable knowing that they're desperate. I feel comfortable knowing that they're grasping at straws. Just think about what Al Sharpton said. They're mad because he said he's going to take his white body out to the beach. That he could be at the beach. That's the racist part. Not everybody has access to the beach. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they may not have the transportation, but they have access. You want to go to the beach? Go to the beach. Down here, obviously, in Boca, there's some of the beaches are private, but other than that, You can go to the beach. Ain't nobody stopping you. Fort Lauderdale Beach is packed all the time. People of all kinds of different colors, races. There's even people on the beach with burqas. There's even people on the beach with masks. So I don't understand what he said, that someone who wants to get a suntan is somehow now being racist. Unbelievable. Don't believe it. All right, so it looks like Trump is at this. I don't know what they're doing, but when we go to it, if you want to stick around, we'll go ahead. That was going to be my 2 o'clock show, but my 2 o'clock show has turned into the 3 and 4 o'clock show. So hey, we'll keep going. Let's talk to some of you guys right now. Love to hear what you guys want to say. Do you want to keep your access? Vote Trump. Just pulled it off. What's this say? Just pulled it off 3 trolls. Let me know the name when they come up. I'm a whiz with the computer. Not sure what that was. You know these are rats. The one, yeah. I actually felt that way. I felt that these people may have come in and were infecting Trump supporters because it was easy to try and do. Barry, get rid of that mute button on that mic of yours. So what if your dog barks? Put him in another room or shut the door. It's my tick, I guess you would say, my pet peeve. I want to be able to make sure I'm not interrupting you, but then again, I am interrupting you if I forget to hit the button. I get it. Yeah. There hasn't been enough. There hasn't been enough of Fred, Archie, and George in decades. Bring them back and blow some minds. Can you imagine? Could you even possibly imagine if All in the Family? Well, no, it couldn't be, because Meathead is one of the worst ones right now. I wonder what he must think when he sees reruns of All in the Family. How it must make him go into contortions. I don't know. It makes no sense. We're all American, no matter skin color. Exactly. We're called Americans for Trump. Don't give in to this stuff. Angel says they are definitely desperate. Yep, that's for sure. Aya says they know we are winning. That's the thing. Hail Marys being thrown, tricks being pulled out of the bag, all kinds of things because they know they are in trouble. Just don't fall for it. Just stop. You know, I thought about it. I was going to say, you know what, let me show the person's email, but I don't want to embarrass anybody because I don't know who they are, and they may have been having a bad evening or something, and I'm like, just delete it. Don't even respond. Just let it go. Okay. I can't stand that race baiter who runs every chance to stir things up. And you have to realize that. That's exactly what to do. Rob Reiner is fake and a virtue signaling phony. I wonder if he's taken any of those trips, if you know what I mean, and I think you do. Let's see. I'm white. I'm lying in the sun to make my skin the color of yours. Why aren't you complimented? Why offended? I love dark skin. That's a great point. I'm trying to get browner, which means I don't mind the brownness on my skin. Oh, that's so true. I didn't hear them repeating when Trump said we all bleed the same. Yep. You're killing me. You know, I love comedy. I mean, I absolutely love comedy. I mean, I think I've been to... Okay, you want to hear something funny? I want you to go ahead and, when you get a chance, on Netflix or YouTube or whatever, download and take a watch of the Kings of Comedy. I think it's the now deceased Bernie Mac, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, and I never laughed so hard in this era. It was absolutely phenomenal. It's called the Kings of Comedy. And it was funny as hell. They were just ripping on people. I mean, when's the last time you've seen a good stand-up show? Last time I saw a good stand-up show, my wife and I had done some work with a company, and they had an event or basically a social event at the Improv in West Palm Beach. And one of the guys from CNN was there. That guy from CNN was Kevin Nealon. And Kevin Nealon started the show by saying, okay, and he walked out, he goes, if you're offended easily, I'm going to hold off saying anything to give you time to leave right now. And that in itself made a whole bunch of people laugh because we knew where he was headed, and we knew there were probably some snowflakes in the audience who needed to, escort their way out. Why you would go to a comedy show at the Improv with no filter if you were going to be offended? Here's a little bit a hint for you. If you go see a comedian live in the Improv or any other venue, the Comedy Store, whatever, expect they're going to make fun of people. They're going to make fun of fat people. They're going to make fun of white people. They're going to make fun of black people. They're going to make fun of Muslims. They're going to make fun of everybody. That's their job, is to make fun. And so we laughed so hard. I mean, he went for about 90 minutes, and he just went after everybody. And we all laughed. We all had fun. George Carlin, just guys like that. Can you imagine back then? I would have been fired if I was offended by anything. I grew up listening to Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor was so funny. And again, you don't know how these people would take things right now. But Richard Pryor went through a complete metamorphosis. He was funny. He got into a whole bunch of drugs, almost killed himself, which that show is hilarious. He used the N-word prolifically. Then he went to Africa and came back and said, I'm not going to use the N-word, but I'm going to do this and this. And it was just art. It was an art form watching this guy make jokes. Eddie Murphy the same way. His most famous joke was he not most famous, but he talked to Richard Pryor, and Richard Pryor and him were talking about Bill Cosby, and he goes, man, Bill Cosby's got me a little upset. Bill Cosby keeps telling me stop swearing and stop doing this and stop doing that. And Richard Pryor told him, go tell Bill Cosby to have a smile, have a Coke and a smile and shut the F up. And I thought that was just hilarious. I was rolling. Bill Burr is a liberal but knows how to joke. We shouldn't even have to separate that stuff. I mean, it's insane when you think about it. Movies like Blazing Saddles could not even get greenlit in Hollywood these days. Why is that? Why could we not have Blazing Saddles? Why could we not have History of the World? Why could we not have The Producers? Remember The Producers? 1 and 2. 1 with Zero Mostel and that cast. And then the second one with Nathan Lane, who was gay, and Matthew Broderick. And it was hilarious. The reason why we can't have that is because it doesn't fit where they're taking the country. If you want to make sure you take back the country, you need to take back comedy. The entire thing with comedy, and you're seeing it on Saturday Night Live right now, and it's freaking out. It's really ticking off some of the liberals right now that they're making fun of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Didn't seem to bother them when they were making fun of Trump. But you're not allowed to make fun of the people on the left, even though they give you many opportunities for comedy. There was a sportscaster. He filmed a video on his phone last week, not even last week, a couple days ago. And on his phone, on his own time, on a golf course, he told whoever his followers are, what are you, you're crazy if you vote for Kamala Harris, blah, 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 vote for Trump. And he got fired. He wasn't on air. He was talking to people on his own cell phone, and he got fired. He'll probably sue and win, unless there's some clause in the contract says even when you're not on the air, you can't even say stuff that we find offensive. It's that bad, which is complete BS, the hypocrisy. Yeah. Oh, Don Rickles? Don Rickles would probably be in jail. Just saying. Right now, they would probably put Don Rickles in jail. Your community on X is amazing. I'm telling you, thank you very much. The people in there are doing such a good job. They're talking, they're posting things. It's incredible, and I love it that everyone's in there doing that. George Jefferson kissing Archie Bunker. Yeah, that was funny back in the day. Most of us white snowballs want to have brown glowing skin. What do you think they made self-tanners? You know, my wife is of Scottish descent, and she is a redhead. Now she's blonde, and she's got one of the most beautiful eyes ever, blue eyes, and she's very, 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 very fair-skinned. So she has to use, like, what do you call that? As a black guy, I don't even know what it's called. Sunscreen 9,000 or something to make sure she doesn't fry. And then she has to take it in stages so she can get tan. And I'm like, damn, that's a lot of work. That's a whole lot of work you got to go through just to get your shade right. Oh, it's funny. It's just too funny. Somebody said Rodney Dangerfield. That's another one. Nipsey Russell. Wow, that's back when my grandmother used to love him. Oh man, you said something really good here. Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison made a joke one time. Robin and I were watching. It was one of his HBO specials. He made a joke. I wasn't offended, but I felt bad for laughing at it. I mean, he was talking about Jesus and the disciples. You guys may know that bit. And I went, oh my gosh, should I even be laughing at this? This is too... And then you realize it's comedy. It doesn't mean anything. When he's done, you had a nice chuckle. Didn't change my religion. Didn't change my faith. It was a joke. I couldn't imagine how these people grow up these days thinking everything is potentially offensive. That if somebody says something... And remember, it wasn't that long ago. I don't know if you guys have watched the World Series. Robin's favorite team is the Yankees, and they happen to be getting their butt kicked by the Dodgers right now, which is okay because her deceased dad's favorite team was the Dodgers, so it makes it a little bit easier. But in any event, Game 2, we turn on Game 2, and out of the bullpen comes Ice Cube, not Ice-T, Ice Cube. And he didn't sing the national anthem. He rapped. He walked from the center field bleachers all the way to home plate, rapping his song. If you guys are familiar with it, the song is called "It's a Good Day." And there's a line in that song, and I was listening for it, and I'm telling Robin, I'm like, they're gonna make him change it. This is LA. They're gonna make him change it, even though it was a huge hit, platinum album. People loved it. There's a line in the song when he says, "I didn't even have to use my AK. Today was a good day." They made him change that. He could not say that word. 2 words. 2 letters. I didn't even have to use my AK. Today was a good day. He was talking about growing up in South Central Los Angeles and basically the gangbanging days. And that song, Today Was a Good Day, was all about a day in the life of someone living in the hood. And in the line in the song says, and you can look it up and listen to it, it says, I didn't even have to use my AK. Today was a good day. And they made him change it. Los Angeles is what it is. He sang the song, but it's amazing. I did. People are remembering that song. YouTube does not return the link to the full Joe Rogan Trump interview, no matter how I try to search for it. That brings me something I want to bring up. Not to change the pace too much, but have you noticed in the last couple rallies? Now, one of the things that AOC said is true. Everybody, including Trump, I'm sure, has to go through and have their speech screened to make sure it's okay. I'm not telling you what you have to say. I'm just telling you, what you probably shouldn't say. The last couple of times Trump has talked, I want you to, and if he says it today while he's talking, since we're going to slide into a rally here, I want you to hear when he gets to the part, if he says it today, where he says the CEO of Google and he spoke. And they spoke in depth, and they were going on, and they were talking about something that happened. I forget what it was, the Joe Rogan interview. I forget what the incident was, because it didn't matter to me. I didn't care about what it was. He goes, and it was blowing up all over Google. And I thought to myself, that's interesting. Why would the CEO of Google be talking to Trump? You know they didn't. Hey, can I speak to Donald Trump? Yeah. Hey, Donald, just want to let you know that last thing you did was a super, super duper, and it's going great on Google. Just wanted you to know. All right, thanks, Sundar. No, that wasn't the phone call. You can bet your ass that's not the phone call. That phone call was something else. I mean, there was something. Let me see if I can find it, because there was something on X today that I'm sure a lot of people may have just looked the other way and said, "Oh, that's no big deal." Let me see if I can find it for you. Yeah, I want you to see this, because as soon as they said that, maybe some of you guys remember what he was pointing out. So where are all the white women at? Yeah, I love that. Okay, the convo was about McDonald's, right? So the convo, Trump says, yeah, he saw me working in the drive-through, and it did so well on Google. And I thought to myself, no, the CEO of Google, or Alphabet as it's called, and President Trump didn't just have chummy talk all of a sudden about a picture. That didn't happen. That could have happened between his press secretary or Dan Scavino, but I'm pretty sure that the CEO of Google or Alphabet did not call Trump to talk about a picture. So this popped up today. I want you to take a look at this. Okay, via CNN. This is probably one of the more interesting things you'll see if you dig into it with your mind here. The CEOs of Google, Amazon, that's Jeff Bezos, which we have to talk about, Apple, Tim Cook, and Zuckerberg. So let's put faces and names to this. So it's Zuckerberg, Bezos, Tim Cook, and Sundar from Google have recently called President Trump seeking to smooth relations ahead of Election Day. The biggest companies in arguably the world have seen what's going on with Elon Musk and have said, ooh, this guy might actually friggin' win. And if he wins, what are we going to do? They're actually seeing the writing on the wall. That's basically their coming to Jesus moment. It's like, all right, this guy's going to win. Let's give a call. You're probably going to start seeing people show up at Mar-a-Lago in about 2 weeks, coming over to kiss the ring. All right, so and I told you that in a video like a week ago. This DEI stuff is on the ropes. They're in big trouble, because now these CEOs are beginning to see what's going to happen. Count it. And then, I don't know if some of you guys have seen this information. Let me pull this up real quick. Where Jeff Bezos basically threw a hand grenade inside of the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos says he wants more conservative opinion writers at the paper. There's a seismic shift going on at this point. Behind the scenes, huge companies are now starting to see what information do they have that you don't have. They have access to a lot more information than we have. They know the pollsters. They're getting the tea leaves read to them. And those tea leaves are like, oh shit, he's winning, right? Yeah, he's going to win. You don't make that shift and say, hey, listen, we need to bring some more conservative writers in here. You don't do that. All the data is beginning to now solidify that Trump is going to win. Not just Polymarket, but you got to watch the moves that are happening. In addition to the extreme confidence that Trump is exuding when he gets on stage. It's incredible. All right, so we're still waiting for Trump to show up. Get a haircut, Bezos. Let's see. This Trump person only hears their crap when Barry plays it, and that riles me up. You just need to know what's going on. You just need to know. They know what's coming. They know, obviously, they've got the real polling data. They're the ones who are being shared, and they know it. So all the stuff you're seeing on this media and what's going on, Bezos basically had a revolt. Their revolt was, we're not going to endorse anybody. Really. So you mention you're not going to endorse anybody. You overrule your editors. And then at the same time, you tell people we need to hire more conservatives. Interesting. Man, Trump is going to make a seismic shit on the Democrats. Well, let me just tell you this. This comment really makes me want to think. It says the CEOs are freaking out. CEOs don't freak out. A CEO, a good CEO, does what's best for his shareholders at the specific time they're in. You see, it was good business to make sure you didn't piss off Dementia Joe or the powers that be. So go ahead with the DEI. Go ahead and force the jabademic and do everything you need to do. Don't piss us off, because we'll go after you like we go after Elon. And you ain't got Elon kind of money. And now they're starting to see, well, these guys can't shake us down anymore. They've got basically a month and we'll be good. And that's why we're going to start talking to this guy. This guy over here needs to, tell us what things are going to be like. Not freaking out, just making their moves. They're making their moves, and they're making them quickly. A lot of people are worried. Yeah, they should be. A lot of them should be worried. Absolutely. Just say no to ring kissing. And they know this. They know Trump is pissed off. New York Post article said, yeah, MAGA Square Garden. Absolutely. I think that like I said, retribution and the reckoning are both coming. And not in the way that they're talking about. Oh, he wants to throw his opponents in jail. No, I'm not looking to throw my opponents and adversaries in jail. I'm looking to prosecute the people who screwed up. That's who we're going to put in jail. If you don't have anything to worry about once the investigations start going the other way, you're fine. Don't be concerned. But if you did, Daddy's coming home and he's pissed as hell. That's what's freaking some of these people out. Because we don't know what are those things that they've done. All these lists. And you got Diddy. I don't know if you saw the news on Diddy. Now they're worried about him, basically offing himself. He's not doing well. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? And we pick up the news one day. Oh, and Diddy was despondent, and he decided he was going to go swinging from a noose. Yeah, it's funny how that always happens, doesn't it? Before they even get to trial, before they even get to convicted, these people just seem to off themselves. They don't even want to go through a trial. Why? Why? Why don't they want to go? They might. There's a chance. If there's a chance I won't do life in prison, then I want to take that chance. If you told me there was no chance and you're never getting out of here and your trial is going to, then maybe some people might decide to take the dirt nap. But until you got convicted, why would you do that? Well, I just can't live another day in here. Okay. Yeah, Diddy's already said if that happens, I didn't do it. Yeah. Joke is a joke, people. It was funny, and that's the other thing. Every time I leave a comedy show, I'll talk about it with Robin. I may talk about it the next day. May have a memory of it. But it doesn't mean anything. It was a joke. An absolute joke. Oh, this is definitely something they're afraid of. They're afraid of him coming home tomorrow in a big way, in an absolute big way. So I want to share something else with you, and it kind of tells you, even the people, not just the normal ones that are freaking out, but we're even seeing at this point people on CNBC who seem to be worried. So I want to show you this. It's a short video, but this is Byron Donalds on CNBC.
Question for you.
Sure, go ahead.
And this is what I think, to the extent that there are folks who, by the way, may agree with the policies of Trump,
Yes.
but don't want to vote for Trump. And those, some of those people. The reason that they don't want to vote for Trump is because they see, either in his character or the people who seem to support him, seem to be engaged in that or willing to engage in that, right? Because what you don't see, you don't go to other rallies for Harris or see in a Harris rally that kind of vitriol. It just you see. Look,
don't?
I don't think you do.
Kamala Harris spends half her time talking about her rival as Hitler, after he's been. There have been attempts on his life, not once but twice. She's doing it right now.
I don't know how that came out of that CNBC. Sorkin is his name. How could he possibly have said that? Well, we never see that from Kamala. Never again. Never again. Never again. But he's never seen it. He didn't see her on stage talking to Anderson Cooper. Hey, do you really think he's a fascist? Oh, yes, absolutely. He's a fascist. I think these people have such limited recall, and then they run up against somebody like Byron Donalds and they get completely eviscerated.
Democrat official at these rallies refers to him as Adolf Hitler. You got Hillary Clinton running around there hawking her book that nobody wants to buy, frankly. And she's talking about how this is akin to 1939. Are you out of your mind? You want to talk about rhetoric? Let's compare. But let me go back. We are talking about the comments of a comedian. Right. And everybody's going to forget it in 48 hours. The real joke in America is the terrible policy of Kamala Harris. Let's talk specifically about Puerto Ricans in America today. Puerto Ricans have had to live under the same inflation unleashed by Kamala Harris.
Uh-oh. Here's some truth telling. That was a joke. That was nothing more than a joke. Can we discuss reality? Because the reality of the situation, beyond a joke, is that the Puerto Ricans have done the same thing everybody else have. They've had to experience and deal with higher gas prices, higher grocery prices, higher rent, higher mortgage, everything. That's not a joke. That's real life.
And that's not a joke, but they got to...
I swear to God, I didn't know that was coming. I swear to, even though I put it together, I didn't watch I didn't know that was coming.
Live with it. Puerto Ricans today are living under the same terrible border policies that Joe Biden and Kamala...
Look, the guy doesn't see. That's one of the problems. When you meet these people with facts, guy turned his head and did like this with his hand. Doesn't want to talk about it. I've been defeated. I'm done. You spanked my ass. And I can't even refute what you're saying at this point. Leave, please, go away. Do whatever you need to do. I understand.
Harris unleashed. That's a terrible joke on the American people. We should be focused.
Look at his face. His face right there. It looks like I really stepped into this bear trap, didn't I? Yeah, you did. You stepped right into poop, bud. You look terrified. On national TV, you just got schooled. One for Byron.
On that.
See the breadcrumbs and the...
All right, so this is another segment. I told you there was 2 segments of her. Listen to this one.
Puzzle pieces that are being put together by the Republican Party right now. Even the way that they are dropping polls, the number of polls, the way that they are trying to outnumber Republican-skewed polls, and the way that they're undermining elections, mail-in.
She does. When somebody goes like that when they're talking, that you know they're lying. she can't even come up with the lie at this point.
Ballots. We're also seeing a widely reported incident of a manipulated video about burned, an attack or ripped up ballots in Pennsylvania that was
manipulated video. She's the only one who said that. She's the only one who has said manipulated video, including, I may have to just jump to something in Oregon. Let me just show you this, because I'm sure this is, she had no idea that this was happening. We'll come back to her. Can you see this? That's not manipulated. That is a ballot box. And ballot drop boxes with completed votes have just been set on fire in Vancouver, Washington, and Portland, Oregon. Expect more wild stuff this week. Stay vigilant. Who's been telling you that? Who's been telling you to stay vigilant and get prepared? See, one of the questions I would have had as I'm looking at these ballots burn and go up in flame, and now they've got to pick up the remnants of it, is why would the nuts burn ballot boxes in Vancouver, Washington, a deep blue state, and Portland, Oregon, a deep blue state? Isn't that suspect? Why would that be what's burning? So when she's talking about manipulated things, she's absolutely lying, and she's hoping people don't recognize this stuff.
Proved to be fraudulent. All of this is exactly a replay of what Donald Trump did on January 6th. We don't have.
How are ballots burning and stuff like that a replay of January 6th? Because that's Democrats doing that. That's your boys with the black bloc. They're actually doing stuff.
To think about if this is what happens. This is their playbook that they have used that led to the deaths of multiple people on January 6th.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know anything about multiple deaths on January 6th other than Ashley Babbitt being wasted? Multiple deaths on January 6th. Multiple. Lots of them. They're terrified.
This led to one of the largest attacks in American history on the American Capitol, on U.S. soil. And it was done by
one of the largest attacks on American soil. I know she's a younger woman, but does she not remember 9/11? I'm just asking.
Exactly this rhetoric. And so when the Trump campaign says this was just a joke, we're just bringing in a comedian, they joke their way up right up until the point that people have lost their lives. So
desperation, people. Absolute, utter desperation. It's only going to get worse. Like Charlie Kirk said in that tweet, X post, be prepared. Next 7, 8, 9 days, and then after that, it's going to get crazy. Be ready. Be absolutely ready. What about the bomb going off in Congress? It was done by Nancy. Barry, had a great time last night with you on the channel. Thank you very much. If you stood for that 6 hours, thank you very much. Who keeps voting for her? Good question. Good question. Some of you guys are like Oklahoma City, Pearl Harbor. She doesn't know her history. You couldn't make that kind of a statement if you knew your history. Worst. It was horrible. The Russians are coming. Oh my goodness. This was funny. That man, I felt bad laughing at his jokes. They were so good. That's how much his comedy was. He just, he burned it down. But simps believe these people. Yeah, they do. They absolutely believe this stuff. Who voted for her? I can't tell you. I can't tell you who voted for her. I can't tell you who listens to her. I don't know how the other people on that stage or panel didn't just go, what multiple deaths are you talking about? It's crazy. Does this dumbass not pay attention to the horrendous things that are done on the left? Nope. Because anything you want to do, if you're on the left, you can do it. Nobody is going to tell them no. It's absolutely crazy. 2020 Minneapolis, yeah, the whole city burned. See, Randy, us older guys are sitting here talking about Andrew Dice Clay, and oh, what was that one? Hickory Dickory Dock. You're going to get me in trouble, man. You're going to get me in trouble. Let's see here. Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa was nasty. I still can't get over not asking IDs to vote. Yeah, that's another big one. I don't know what we're supposed to do about that. Don't know at all. So we're waiting for Trump to appear. I had done my show, and they told me he was going to be doing 2 events. I don't know if they're going to do the prayer meeting anymore, because the prayer meeting was supposed to be at 2 o'clock. The rally was supposed to be at 4 p.m. And it looks like he'll make the rally. I don't think he's going to make the other event. It's just not possible that he's going to do 2 events in the next half hour. It's just not going to happen. Let's see what else we got here. Let me see if I can pull something up. There's some information for you. All right, so those of you know that tomorrow Steve Bannon hits the streets. Steve Bannon is released. I bet you he goes home, takes a shower, and then from the shower he's heading right to his studio. I wouldn't even be surprised if he made it to the event tomorrow with Trump. Let's see, where is Trump's event tomorrow? Let me see. Monday, Tuesday, tomorrow he's in Allentown, Pennsylvania at 6:30 p.m. is when we go live. All right, so those of you who, I don't know anything about this. I'm going to be watching it the same way as you. I used to not believe Alex Jones too much, but then too many things started happening. And so he says this, Monday, bombshell, imminent Trump victory sends the left into total panic mode as the polls show some blue states now in play for Trump. I don't know if that's so much of a bombshell anymore. He's looking at a Reagan-esque style win at this point. From everything that we've been seeing, it looks like even New Hampshire is in play. It is going to cause a lot of this. This is that lady I showed you guys last week. She decided she wanted to have a fight with a Trump sign. She's walking. Oh, she's fighting with a sign. And a sign. Be careful. Be careful. These people are nuts. They're absolutely crazy in what they're doing. I can't even fathom some of the stuff that's going to happen. So we're waiting for Trump to show up. This is supposed to be a National Faith Summit in Powder Springs, but I don't know if that's what they're going to do. I did see that today they went ahead and the governor, not the governor, might as well be the governor of Pennsylvania, decided to sue Elon Musk for giving out money. They're getting desperate. They're getting really, really desperate. This was interesting as well. I'm going to go here. 1 second. So, yeah, that George Lopez thing is everywhere as well. Okay, where is this? I don't know if you guys saw this. I can show this to you as well. Hold on. Let me see, rewind. I don't know if you saw this, but all right. So on Sunday Night Football, the 49ers are playing, and that's George Kittle to your far left, and that's, I forget, Samantha Ponder, I think, maybe the woman holding the microphone, and then of course you've got the quarterback from Brock Purdy, And then watch what happens in the background oops, I don't want to play the music because they'll get mad. But that's that's all pro San Francisco 49ers Nick Bosa, who jumps in there and points at the Trump Make America Great Again hat. This thing is way too big for them to stop at this point. It is so big, they can't even stop it. They can't stop what's happening. It's driving them absolutely crazy, and we're winning. And I just tried to, impart that upon you guys. I want to show you this video while we're waiting because I can download and get things ready at the same time here. This was you guys familiar with the Young Turks? Well, the Young Turks is a how can you say it? Way left website and YouTube channel that has hated Trump, and I forget how to pronounce this guy's name, Senker Uger, whatever. And here's what he had to say about Joe Rogan's interview, which is pretty much the same thing a lot of people are saying at this point. I want you to hear this. Let's take a listen.
I thought Trump looked presidential and personable. I hate that, but he did. And so the presidential thing is, I mean, as long as you're not listening to him, right? He had a great suit on. He's sitting there and speaking authoritatively. Rogan is having a back and forth conversation with him that seems like two human beings talking. That's definitely helpful to Trump because politicians are normally so awkward, right? But he's speaking to him as a person of authority, and Rogan is deferring to him. And then they like each other. So it goes back and forth smoothly. There aren't talking points. Standard politicians, including Kamala Harris, are talking point machines. And that's not what Trump is doing. I'm going to get to the substance, don't worry, of what he said. And that's where, things devolve. But if you're a person looking at it from the outside and you don't know you don't know much about politics and you don't know much about the details of these issues, you look and you go, oh, well, that guy looks like a president. And that guy looks like he's a real human being having a conversation with another human being. He doesn't seem like a robot. He doesn't seem fake in that sense. So, and most people don't know a lot about politics. And undecided people know even less usually because that's why they're taking so long to decide. Now, I know all the facts, so I decided a long time ago, right? So, hence, on the outside, before we get to the actual substance of it, it looks really good for Trump. And you got to be honest about it. If it was, and you know me, if it was a train wreck, I would be very happy to tell you that it was a train wreck and explain exactly how it was, right?
That's probably one of the most liberal podcaster news type guys out there. And now he's starting to understand this thing is moving to Trump. And Kamala, she's just out there flailing. She has basically nothing she can do to fix what's going on. And so she went and appeared on, I don't know if you guys know who this guy is, but I'll let you know. Shannon Sharpe is a black former football player, NFL Hall of Famer, has a huge podcast, and he asked her, she's doing this, she followed Trump, she went to a black barber shop of all places, which if you know anything about black barbershops, it's not the place where a woman should be going. I'm just saying. I'm not a misogynist, but we got our barriers, and a black barbershop is sort of like walking into a men's locker room. You don't do that. So now she goes on Shannon Sharpe's show because she can see the hemorrhaging of the black vote. This is her on Shannon Sharpe's show.
Blacks for Trump. They feel that Trump is better for the black community. Can you explain Donald Trump's history with blacks? Where did this come that all of a sudden,
See, that's the problem, Shannon. That's your problem. It's not all of a sudden. The liberals can't understand it because they keep framing it that way. Where did this Trump stuff come that he was good for blacks all of a sudden? Well, forget his personal life, decades-long personal life. You can just go back to 2016. And I remember him, as well as you do, remember him going on the campaign and saying, what do you got to lose? Well, people found out what they have to lose. There's nothing all of a sudden about this. Maybe because you don't understand and she doesn't understand how black people are basically flocking to Trump. The truth of the matter is they are.
It's been like this because a lot of people used to say, I'm Donald Trump of the ghetto, because he was, I mean, for a lot of blacks, not all, but for some blacks, he was, Madam VP, whether we want to admit it or not, he's revered by some blacks.
I have to stop it because Kamala's in front of a black man trying to get a black audience. So before she talks, she's being programmed upstairs which accent she has to use.
But here's the thing. The question for everybody, should he
For everybody
be president of the United States?
Okay.
Right? That's the question. Should he have the ability to sit behind the seal?
All right, so I'm going to stop it for a second. She can't even answer questions to a black host. She's in a home stadium, per se. This is a home game for her. And she can't answer the question that he asked her. Let me just rewind it and so you can hear the question again. All right. Listen to the question.
A lot of blacks, not all, but for some blacks, he was, Madam VP, whether we want to admit it or not, he's revered by some blacks.
So the question to you, Madam VP, is why is he revered by so many black people? Which should be a layup for her. She could say a number of different things, but instead, he's Hitler.
But here's the thing. The question for everybody, should
The question for everybody, I already gave you the question.
he be president of the United States?
Okay.
Right? That's the question. Should he have the ability to sit behind the seal of the president of the United States when he says he wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States?
Shannon, I'm disappointed in you, brother. I am completely disappointed and actually disgusted with you. Because I don't care who's sitting in front of me. I don't care if she's got the VP, moniker in front of her or the Secret Service standing right here. Like, whoa. Two things, Madam Vice President. One, I asked you why, he's revered by black people. And two, don't lie to me. The man didn't say nothing about terminating the Constitution, okay? Because I'm going to get black back on you.
You know what that would mean? In the Constitution of the United States is your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure. Your Fifth Amendment right. Your Sixth Amendment right to an attorney.
See how she got black on him real quick?
Well, a lot of rights going to be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment.
Yes.
Look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away.
Did you notice that? I hope you paid attention to that. She skipped the First Amendment. This woman is evil to the core. And you're worried about some joke? The reason why you should be worried about that joke is because if she gets in, he wouldn't be allowed to even tell the joke. Comedians would not be able to say certain things that the regime doesn't want them to say. She rattled off these amendments, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all that kind of crap. Search and seizure. She didn't say number one. She didn't say free speech. That doesn't matter to her. Which means number two is BS as well. You have to listen when people talk. She meant that. And Shannon, you absolutely should be ashamed of yourself. You're accomplished as a football player. You got a great podcast, does all kinds of good numbers. You've done a lot of good stuff, including having sex on your phone. I don't know if y'all knew about that, but somehow he was having sex with somebody and he hit record on his phone, but it didn't hit the record. It hit the live button and it went broadcast out. So that's a whole different story. Man made a mistake. It's okay. It happens. But the mistake you just made was you let that woman BS you to your face, which means you probably got paid. You understand that? Stephen A. Smith, same way. Stephen A. Smith, cuck. I'm sorry. Cuck. You did the same song and dance as Shannon did. You let her just go ahead and say whatever she wants to. You went on Sean Hannity's show and you did the shuck and jive for Kamala Harris because you had to. Lots of respect being lost by people. Lots of respect. If anybody tells a joke, I'm leaving. Oh man, it's crazy. She's already. I think. Ooh, Shannon is what? And that phone thing was just trying to spell the. Ooh, whoa, really? I didn't know nothing about that. I can't go there. Yeah, she just lied. Everything to everyone is a lie, and I'm tired of all these bought and paid for celebrities. That's all they are. All that money she raised is being spent on people just that she can just pull in and basically have them lie for her. Absolutely. Kamala hates America and our children's future. I don't get it. I don't rock with Stephen A. Smith either. I can't handle his loud mouth. It's so bad. Don't need respect on the plantation. No, I guess the check clears. You're okay. You're absolutely okay. I mean, ooh, so somebody said that is true about Shannon. I didn't know that. What? The left only cares about gay, feminized black dudes. Oh, you guys are too much. You guys are, I didn't know nothing about that. I wasn't going to go there. Oh, now you're telling me one of the comedians is bad too? Steve Harvey? No. Y'all crazy. Y'all absolutely dropping dimes out here on people. It's nuts. So anyway, that's. Let me just see if there's anything new dropping. I can usually. Oh, here. Let me go ahead and play this for you because as we're waiting, so I can find these videos and just come back in here and put them up real quick. So I mentioned the Tom. Oh no, I can't play that. The Tom Homan piece on 60 Minutes. The Tom Homan piece on 60 Minutes. Here it is right here. So if you want to look at, Poso has it posted. So if you want to go to his page, you can take a look at it. If I went ahead and played it, 60 Minutes would have a heart attack. But you can actually see the look on her face when he says, "Yeah, we just deport them all." It's coming right now. Of course there is. You just deport them all. Oh, they didn't show it. Yeah, but that's pretty funny how. It's chilling when he said it. All right, let's see what's going on. Is anything else going on? So I can put this up here for you. You guys know about the people are actually talking now also to prove that they were wrong, and this is pretty interesting. Trash and illegal dumping has been a huge issue in Puerto Rico for quite some time, actually. I honestly had no idea. It wasn't covered by the media. Nope. It wasn't covered by AOC or all the other people pretending to be offended by a joke. The EPA had to sue to stop illegal dumping many times. Trump can fix this. There are at least 29 operating open dumps and landfills in Puerto Rico. Let me see if I can't make this smaller so you guys can see this because they lied about it. Lied. Okay, there it is. U.S. government calls for the end of disposing solid waste at Puerto Rico municipal landfill. And this is 2021. So you can see here the date of the article. This stuff has been going on for years. Absolutely for years. And they're asking like it was just now that this thing is being brought up. Guys, and excuse me, and making a joke of it. It's an asshole. It is. I mean, we went someplace and we had to fly into San Juan. And when we flew into San Juan, I was like, this place is a dump. I mean, this is it's supposed to be an American territory. They want to make this the next state. And it's a dump. An absolute dump. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, Trump, they say, is moments away. So it looks like he'll be going on stage. We can take a few more comments until that comes. Somebody says that they're afraid. Afraid of what? Don't be afraid. Vote in person. We vote in person. We vote early, but we voted in person. Barry, I am a hunter, and a trapped animal can be dangerous. Yes, they know it, and you're absolutely right, Christopher. These people are trapped. At this point, I don't think they know what to do. There is so much subpoenable information. You just can't delete it all. You ever hear this? Preserve your records. Well, at this point, if there's going to be so much out there, and I think Trump has basically let people know that he knows more than they think he knows. So when he put out that edict and said, "Listen, we're coming for you, and if you did stuff, you're going to go to jail." That's why they're terrified. They are absolutely terrified. So we're getting close to Trump walking on stage. Celebrities who endorsed Kamala are telling us they partied with Diddy. I think somebody had actually, another comedian actually had said something about them doing that. The expression on that 60 Minutes clip is so rewarding. How did it taste? Oh, man. I am over the media. Yeah, it's funny. Have you heard that discussed anywhere? Bill Gates got indicted in the Netherlands. So you see it on X all over the place. But I haven't seen anybody anywhere in the media talking about it. So I'm looking at the arena, and we've begun getting speakers. I don't know who this guy is, but we can take him and let somebody else talk here for a little while. Let me make sure the sound is correct.
At a rally, and a group of Christians got chastised, and she told her they were at the wrong rally. Anybody hear that? See, they had the audacity to speak truth, and she told them they were at the wrong rally. So before we get started tonight, they called me up here to pray. So I just want to be sure before we pray, am I at the right rally? If I believe in American exceptionalism and that we can indeed make America great again, am I at the right rally? If I believe that our inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, am I at the right rally? If I believe that we should protect our border before we send our men and women around the world to protect others, am I at the right rally? If I believe that women's sports should be reserved for actual women, am I at the right rally? And if I believe that the time has come to send Kamala Harris back to California and Donald J. Trump back to the White House, am I at the right rally? And lastly, and maybe most importantly, come on. If I believe that if God's people who are called by His name will humble Himself and humble themselves and turn from their wicked ways and pray, that He will indeed hear our prayer and heal our land. If I believe that, am I at the right rally? If you would, please stand with me. Gentlemen, ladies, please remove your hats. We're going to call on heaven together. Father God, with a word, you spoke everything that we know into existence. You are over all things, and through all things, you are made holy. We recognize and declare your sovereignty in this place tonight, God. We know that every government in this world rests on your shoulders. And so in light of that, we pray for your mercy today. We pray for your favor on President Trump and Senator Vance. We pray for your favor on this nation that we love so much. We pray that we would know your mercy and your kindness, and that through us, you will be glorified. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome State House Majority Whip James Burchett to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm going to say a few words here before we go to the pledge, but I can't agree with you more, Senator. Are we at the right rally to elect Donald J. Trump or what?
I didn't know he was just going to walk out in the middle of them talking. Wait a minute. I don't understand what's going on here. So they're holding a rally and he just walks out into the other event first. So they cut it real quick. So I guess what they're doing, okay, so here's what's going to happen. He's going to do his faith-based sit-down, which is in Powder Springs, which I don't know how far, maybe you guys can look it up. I'm not sure how far Powder Springs is from Atlanta. So he is going to do two events. He's going to do this faith-based town hall, and then from the faith-based town hall, he's going to run over to Atlanta at the arena and do his speech there. So he's got two events. So, people, go ahead, get something to eat, do what you need to do, because it looks like we may be here for a little bit. Obviously, you don't have to stick around the whole time, but we're going to have two events. We're going to have Donald Trump here at a faith-based summit, and then from here, from Powder Springs, he's going to leave here. Hold on. Killing music, so that we don't get in trouble here again. But that's what's going to happen. So we're looking at two events back to back here. The other one, this one was supposed to be at 2, and then the other one was supposed to be at 5:30. So what I'll do, once he gets done here, I'll go ahead and end this stream, and then get back on once they say like how soon it is before he gets to Atlanta to the arena. So I guess I get no dinner. I guess I just sleep today. That's it. All right. So he's walking to the chairs, and hold on.
Thank you very much. That is a lot of religion out there. That's pretty good. We like that.
President Trump, we are so honored to have you join us in front of this very, very important faith summit. You are my friend, and I am so blessed to have been a part of your life. Some people don't know, for over 24 years as a part of, I feel, not only family, but your pastor and an advisor. And I got to work in the White House and represent People of Faith as senior advisor to Faith Initiative and Opportunity. One of the greatest honors ever. We have thousands of pastors here and faith leaders, and their number one issue that they want to know about is, what about your faith? Let's talk about, how is faith formed in you, and what does it mean to you?
Well, thank you very much, Paula. And you have been. I've known you for a long time, and she's a great person, a great woman. And really, it's an honor. It's an honor. It really is. And she's a hard worker, too. Boy, does she work. And, I advised her. She had some property, and she grew out of the churches. She got bigger. She was going wild in Florida. I met her, and she called and asked for advice. One of the churches... it was in the middle of nowhere, and she had big, the number of people going every Sunday. And she said, they've offered me money for this land. I can put it to very good use with all the people that need help. Should I sell? I said, you might as well sell. Take the money right now, because it can change really quickly. And she'll go a little bit further out, and she just kept doing that. I said, this is a great business. This is pretty good. But she put the money to great use, and you've helped so many people, and it's really great. And really nice to know you. Really nice to know you. Thank you. Look, we're going through a lot of problems in our country. If you take a look at the anger, the problems that we have, and a lot of it is that it's less based on religion now than it was 25 years ago and 50 years ago. And I mean, we were people would say, a Christian and really religious, even other faiths country. And that seems to be heading in the wrong direction. And I think as that goes down, I think that our country goes down. I really do. I think this is a country that needs religion. It's like the glue that holds it together. And we don't have that. That's why you are the most important people. And I'm not sure you even realize it. And they're trying to hurt you. They're trying to stymie you. This new administration, this new radical left group of people, and it's not so new. It's been around for a while, and they are people that are not nice people. If you happen to be Catholic, we don't have too many Catholics here, maybe, but boy, they are persecuting Catholics. I actually said, how could a Catholic possibly vote for Kamala? How could that? I mean, the level of anger and the level of vitriol. You know, when you see what's going on with the FBI and the Catholic Church, I say, what is happening? And you know, the expression is that you're next, because everybody's next with this group, and they have a very bad agenda, and we have to stop it, and we have to win this election. I think winning this election, I think it's going to be the most important election in the history of our country.
Absolutely. So let's go back for just a minute. Let's go back into your childhood, because you didn't start going to church when you were a politician. Church was such a formation of your faith, going to Sunday school, going to the Presbyterian Church, Norman Vincent Peale's, Billy Graham Crusade. Talk about the formation of your faith as a child.
So when I was very young, my mother was from Scotland, and she was religious. I don't know as religious as some of the people in this room, but she was religious. She was a believer. And my father was a real worker, and he was religious too, but he was working all the time. And a good man, great heart, a very strong guy, but had a great heart. And I remember would walk down the street, walk down some street, and there'd be somebody holding a cup. You don't see it too much anymore, but you used to have, and they'd have pencils, and they'd actually sell you pencils. But he'd always put $100 in that cup, always. He'd never pass that cup. And then $100 is probably like $1,000 today, right? So, but he was always very generous in that way. So I grew up in Queens, and, oh, good, we have a lot of people. Good. It's good education. Getting through Queens is pretty good education. And that includes Brooklyn and a lot of other places, actually. But Queens was good. We had a very nice area, really a good area. But my parents thought going to church was important, and we'd go to church. But I really went to Sunday school, and I learned, and Sunday school really took place a lot of times on a Saturday. Does that make sense? Does that still happen, Saturday? I call it Saturday church. And we'd spend an hour, and we had some very good people teaching, pastors, ministers. I think we called them probably more ministers. And the church was associated, it was called First Presbyterian Church. And it was a very old building, but a beautiful building, just beautiful building, actually. And I'd love to go back and visit it sometime. I haven't been in that area in a little while, but I'd love to go back and visit it. But it was a great feeling. So I went to Sunday school on Saturday, and sometimes we'd have a little Sunday school after the church service, but most people liked it actually on Saturday better. And I did that for a while, a number of years actually, and would go to church. And you know, the bottom line is it made me feel good. Even at a young age, it made me feel good. Sometimes you couldn't get out of there fast enough, I have to be honest with you. And sometimes a lot of it depended on who was there and who was your teacher. One of the things that did happen as I grew older, we went to Marble Collegiate because my father was in Queens and Brooklyn mostly, and I started there, and then I went to Manhattan and started doing things in Manhattan. I became much more Manhattan-oriented, and I started a church, Marble Collegiate Church. It was a beautiful church, and down on Fifth Avenue in the 20s. And I started going there, and that was Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, who wrote the book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And I was telling stories about him. I don't know if you'd like me to do that, but
I'd love it.
He was a great You could call him a pastor, I think, or a minister, but I never differentiated actually with him. But what he was is an unbelievable speaker and loved God, but he was able to speak. And, you know, this doesn't often happen. And when the service was over, you were disappointed that it wouldn't continue. He would tell stories of modern day things as it related to the Bible. And he was actually an incredible storyteller. He told the story of Alfred Sloan, who was the founder of General Motors. And he was down and out. He suffered from massive alcoholism and lots of other problems. And then he came back, and, you know, Norman, and he rose, and he'd tell the story about a man who became a great business leader, you know, General Motors, especially, I mean, you could say especially then, because at that time there was they didn't have a lot of foreign competition. This was a whole ball game, and it was the biggest at that time. And he did a phenomenal job for a long period of time, and he became a very religious man, actually. But he told the story in great depth and detail, and it was always so fascinating the way he spoke. And I watched, because I didn't know him as a young minister or preacher, because a lot of people call him a preacher, and I just called him a religious man that made religion very interesting. He made all aspects of religion very, very interesting, and probably it was the way he did it, his performance in a sense. But I watched him for a long time. I got married in the church, and he was the minister. And then what happened is I watched him get older, and he was still great into his late 80s. And I watched his last sermon, and he got up to the lectern, and he looked at the audience, and he said, "I just can't do this anymore." He was just very tired, you know. I was there, actually. It was amazing. And the whole church got up. And the church, by the way, you know, you see some churches aren't getting big crowds. This church was packed every Sunday. When he spoke, every Sunday. And then they had the flow rooms, I guess they called them, where you had rooms that had like television sets or whatever it was, closed circuit, I think they called it. And you'd sit there and you hoped you didn't go there, but, you know, it's a reasonably big church, but sometimes, and they'd have them all over the place. I mean, they'd have all these rooms with it, and some of them pretty good sized rooms. The place was packed all the time. But I watched him as he got up, and he said that. He just said, "No, I can't do this anymore. I won't be able to do this." It was his last sermon. And he always stood to the left of the lectern, and he was holding it, and he always held it, let it go, hold it, and walked around a little bit, but he was very comfortable to the left. I remember always it seemed that, but he was holding it with his right hand and just said, "I can't do this anymore." And he was, I don't know if he hit 90, but he was not a young guy, but he was a fascinating person to watch. He was great. He was great. The other person that I found incredible, because my father would take me to Yankee Stadium to see Billy Graham, right? Billy Graham. And that place would be packed, and he was amazing. And he was, that was another one. And he had a gentleman who would sing "How Great Thou Art." You know who that is, right? Of course. And he sang it, Shay, that's right. He sang it for years, and my father thought it was the greatest. It was, I'd said, well, compare this to Elvis's version. Later on to my father, long later, but, you know, Elvis, this was before Elvis almost. But I said, "Dad, which is better?" He said, "Not Elvis." And we all like Elvis, right? But, you know, he was just, he was great. But Billy Graham was great. He had an influence. He had a real influence. And it's nice to see Franklin Graham doing so well. He's doing so many things for so many people.
You know, it's amazing because your faith has played such a role in your actions. Like when you mentioned Franklin, many people don't know that even recently you organized and gave $7 million to Samaritan's Purse for the North Carolina disaster relief. Amen.
Well, you couldn't give it to a better person. It's amazing. Yeah, we raised a lot of money and we gave a lot of money. I had a friend of mine Steve Witkoff, he gave him $1 million or something. They are just, a lot of people are very generous, but Franklin does a great job. He's always, whenever I go to, because as president, I do it a lot. You'd go to a tornado or you'd go to a hurricane. I mean, I saw a lot of very bad things. The destruction of nature is amazing. Some of these tornadoes, the big ones I watched, and I'd look, and it was like cut by a razor blade. The damage on the left was 0, and the damage on the right was devastation. It would be like when you'd fly over it in a helicopter, you'd see a straight line, as straight as it could be, but it was literally cut. A tree on the left wasn't touched, a tree on the right was turned upside down, and sometimes it was 500 yards away. Amazing, the power of nature. But whenever I go there, I see Franklin. He's always there. He's always the first one to. I said, I'm going to beat you to one of these sites one of these days, Franklin. And he really means it. He's a good person. I mean, I had one problem with Franklin. Should I tell him the problem?
Sure.
She's saying, uh-oh.
It's a great one.
No, but I was telling, I tell stories. We have these big rallies. Last night we had a great rally at Madison Square Garden. And sometimes I'll use a little bit, not hard foul, but soft foul. We call it soft foul. But, you know, to emphasize something about somebody's capabilities or whatever I might be talking about. And I got a letter from Franklin, and I met him at the airport. It was on a visit that I made to North Carolina. At the airport, he was there with his planes and everybody, a lot of people. Boy, he gets such great volunteers. They're really going. So anyway, I got a letter a couple of days later, and he says, Mr. President, it's Franklin Graham, and I just want to tell you, I love what you do. I love what you say. I love your stories. I think they're great. And keep telling them, but they'd be even better if you wouldn't use foul language. And I went, true. I said, ooh. And I didn't know. I wasn't sure. Was I supposed to be honored or not? But he said the foul language, so I thought about it. And I said, I'm going to try. And I did try. And I'm not sure I'd make the emphasis quite as good. I've been pretty good about it. But I'm not sure. Every once in a while you need a little bit of something, a little spice to juice them up a little bit. But I got that letter and I sort of laughed. I said, I'm not sure you're right about this, Franklin, but I'm going to give it a shot. But he's done a fantastic job. But so many of the people I know here that we just met backstage, I mean, they have been so incredible to us. And we've had them at the White House, a lot of the pastors and respected people. I recognize a lot of them just originally by just seeing them on television for so many years, right? Including you.
I was going to say, people don't realize that we met, literally, you were watching television and called me out of the blue. And I'll never forget, you said, you've got the it factor. And I said, oh, sir, we call that the anointing. And that was our hello. And from the Swaggart families here, from Reverend Jimmy Swaggart to so many other great people that you watched.
Is Jimmy Swaggart here?
He couldn't make it, but the whole family is over here.
I love Jim. Where is Jim? I love Jimmy Swaggart.
Donnie's here.
I don't even know if he likes me, but I think he does. But where's Donnie? Where's Donnie? We got to see Donnie.
And they literally have one of the biggest networks.
Hi, Donnie.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, say hello. How's he doing? Okay? That guy is a talented guy. So are you, by the way. Good job. Good job. Say hello to him.
And I think
terrific.
So many people don't know this side, so we've taken a little bit of time because I have had the up close and personal seat in your life to see God in your life. And we'll talk about faith offices and economy and immigration and everything in just a moment. But, you know, the media attacks you relentlessly. And you've been under lawfare and the absolute worst. I'll never forget Ralph Reed and Joanne where we were at the Journey concert, my kids. And somebody said the president's been shot. And I froze, like so many people. I started crying and started praying. But when you rose up with fight, 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 woo!
Thank you.
I think so many
See, this means she likes me because she's got tears. If she didn't have tears, no, she does. She really does. She's a great person. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. It was very difficult for so many of us that do dearly love you and not only respect you as president and what you've done, but love you as the man. And we understand that. And I think the world got to see in one of the worst situations that you knew and know that that wasn't luck, that was God, because he has a purpose in your life. So share just a tiny bit about God in your life now and because we all have these journeys of faith. We have ups, we have downs, we fall, we get back up, but you have consistently had this deep respect and honor of God in your life. And that day, I think, showed the world when you knew that God saved you for a purpose.
Well, thank you very much. That was quite a day. But we had a tremendous crowd in Butler, Pennsylvania. And, it was an amazing set of circumstances. And, my two sons are shooters. They're very good, very high quality. They'd be like a scratch golfer or better. I mean, they're both very good. They know everything about guns, and they learned it from their grandfather. They spent time in Europe, back and forth during summers and all, and they're very good. But they understood, they know exactly what the weapon was that they used, that this person used. And it was 130 yards away. And when Don called me first, he said, somebody was protecting you up there because it's almost impossible for even a bad shot to miss you from that distance. Now, he didn't miss me. Probably an eighth of an inch is the difference. And it all happened to be because I was looking there to the side on a chart on illegal immigration. Can you believe it? That famous chart, that now famous chart. But I never do it. It's very interesting because if you look at the circumstances, I never do it. I never use that chart at the beginning, and it's always on the left. I never do it at the right, and I only use it maybe 15 or 20% of the time. I don't use it for every speech, and I go off teleprompter a lot, which is, I think, better. But it's nice to have a president that can go off teleprompter, right? We don't seem to be having that. We don't seem to be having that much anymore. But anyway, so I was talking about something, and I just said, pull down that chart if you would. And I turned to the right very quickly, and ping, and I knew something was real bad. And I went down. I think I was screaming, probably go down, because, I don't think I would have been that. If you see the thing, which you've only seen about 10,000 times, it's probably the most played clip ever. But if you see it, the move down was pretty fast. And I think I was probably listening to different people, including Secret Service, to get down. But no, I got hit. And, hit hard. And, but it was an eighth of an inch. And I was down there, and some things are surreal. I was asked a question the other day by a big journalist. What was it like when you won the presidency? And, in fact, it was Joe Rogan that asked me this question. It was very good question. I thought it was a good, and I talked about it. It was sort of surreal because all of a sudden I'm riding down to the White House and I'm passing a building that I just built, a hotel, Pennsylvania Avenue, beautiful. And I sold it to Waldorf. It's a Waldorf Astoria now. It's nice. And it was very successful. And then we go down a little further and we're at the White House, and then all of a sudden I'm standing by the Lincoln bedroom. I said, that was such a surreal experience. But when I was shot in front of, massive numbers of people, tremendous numbers, you couldn't even see the end. And I was down there. I fully understood what had happened. I was shot in the ear, and the Secret Service thought I was shot elsewhere. They thought I was shot much more than once. And I guess 8 bullets were shot, and the Secret Service person shot 1. Also helped but as I understand it, probably by the local police who shot one, also hit the rifle, and Secret Service guy hit the target. But both of them, played a very big role. Otherwise, you would have had a much, because he had a lot of ammunition, this guy, a lot of people. And it was wall-to-wall people. It would be like, taking everybody, going back as far as you can. It was as dense as it is right in this room right now. So it could only hit people. But I knew exactly where it was. So I knew it was my ear. They said no. I said, no, it's my ear. I got like 7 or 8 guys sitting on top of me. They were heavy. They were very heavy people. And anyway, but by the way, they were very brave because, they were they jumped on top of me and the bullets were flying right over their head. They were Secret Service was very brave. They were very brave. And, they really were. It was incredible. I heard the bullets. I didn't know. You hear those things are moving, and you hear them as clear as you can, as clear as I hear you. So anyway, but what I did see is when you're in that position, you have like this feeling that usually a lot of times you wouldn't really understand. I had total, but when Don called me up, he said, "Dad, you know what? For 130 yards, to me it sounded pretty far away, but for a shooter, 130 yards is like nothing." And he said, "It's a miracle that that's when I first realized it's a miracle that bullet just hit your ear. It's a miracle." But if I didn't turn, so at all of these circumstances, if I didn't turn at that exact angle, because he was right, exactly 90 degrees, he was exactly there. If I didn't turn, if I turned halfway, no good. If I turned a little bit past that, no good. It had to be that exact angle. And I was going further, but this was the angle, and this was when the bullet came in, because 100th of a second later, I would have been turned too far, because I was going further, another 25%, because the chart was back here. So I was doing that, and it went by. And he said that, God has to have done this because it's impossible. Think of all the circumstances when you think. Amen. Think of all the circumstances. You're turning. That's big luck right there, right? Big something. Something happened that you'd be just in that position. And it was only 1/8 of an inch off, right? So it's like, it's incredible. But also, as I said, I'm never right. I'm always left. It's always at the end. I never take it up at the beginning. This was almost the first sentence of what I was talking about, right at the beginning, first paragraph at least. And so it was very early. So there were so many different things. And I remember Don, and then it was confirmed by Eric. Eric said, "I can't believe it." And when I got to the hospital, the doctors and everything was great, unbelievable. But it was, the ear bleeds a lot, just in case you don't want to find out about it. But the ear bleeds a lot. The doctor said like the most in the body has to do with cartilage. I don't know, but man, there was a lot. And I said, "Why does it?" He said, "Let me tell you, before I tell you that, I suggest you go and buy a lottery ticket." The doctor told me that. I'm sitting in the... I said, "Why?" He said, "You are the luckiest guy. I've been doing this for 25 years. That I'm even talking to you is a miracle. Or that I'm talking to you is a miracle, right?"
Absolutely.
So somewhere, all of us, we had a little help up there. And I would like to think, and I don't know this at all, but I would like to think that it's because he wants our country and maybe the world to be helped. Wants our country to be helped. God wants our country to be helped. It would be a really nice thing to say that. But now we have to win an election too. So I hope number one, we win the election, and I think we're doing very well in the election, by the way. But I hope we win the election, and we have to get all the Christians to get out there and vote because, I shouldn't scold anyone, but Christians aren't known for being very solid voters.
Show of hands, how many of you have done early voting already? Yeah. And stats are showing us we are going out by the droves. And
who is going to vote?
Yep. So
okay, a little bit more. That's good because we're leading in all the early votes. And that's unusual. Usually the Republicans aren't leading in early votes. They're usually, in fact, oftentimes very far behind. we would be 20 points behind. Sounds like impossible, but then you'd win because they'd come out on, a Tuesday, and everybody would come out on Tuesday. But we really have a good note. But we're leading, and that's very unusual to be leading. Almost, it's not done. I don't know what this is. The Democrats always vote early, and the Republicans always vote late. The Republicans want to see the vote go into the hopper. The old days it was a hopper. Today it's a machine, but they want to see that. They want to see the vote go into the machine, and so it's great. We have a lot of people. I was at Penn State the other night. I said, "Who voted?" And they raised their hand. About 15% raised their hand. And the beauty of that is that means that all those other people. Then I said, "Who is going to vote?" And the whole room practically raised. I said, "I like that because we already have those votes, and we're leading with just a small." So we have a chance to do unbelievable things. So I hope everybody goes out and votes.
And President Trump, we recognize and believe, too, that God has saved you for a purpose, and that there is a country to save, and as you said, a world. And in your first term, you created the Faith Initiative and Opportunity, Faith Office. We fought for pro-life, Supreme Court justices, religious liberty, prison reform, second chance. Alice Johnson, John Ponder are here. So many different people are here. We had 10,000 faith leaders.
Is Alice Johnson here?
She's here. Alice,
Really?
how are you?
Oh.
Give a big...
Alice.
I know.
I love Alice.
And
oh, wow. Hi.
Yeah.
Is it going well? She's a great woman.
Amen.
You know what should I tell just a second of your story? Because she was put in prison for being on a phone call. She wasn't making it. She was on a call, and it had to do with things that pretty much are almost legal today. And she was on a phone call having to do with drugs, and she was having a hard time. And they gave her like 50 years in jail. And a group of people came over, and they made me aware of it. And I said, that sounds very unfair. And she had already served, is it 22 or 23 years, Alice, or something, right? 23. I mean, think of it. She had like 28 years left. And first I gave her a commute, and then I gave her a full pardon. And I called her in. So good to see you. I called her in, and she came to the Oval Office. I said, so how many people are, because she's a great woman, she's a really good woman, too, good person. And I said, how many people are like you in jail? She said, a lot. I said, everybody? Because I was testing her, because I know some deserve to be there, right? Alice, if you would have said everybody, I wouldn't have probably listened to it. She said, no, by no means. Some are very bad people, rough people. But she said, some are great. I said, can you give me a list? And she gave me a list of a lot of good people that are right. I hear they're doing really well, too. So we got them out of jail, too. Great to see you. Thank you. Thank you, Alice. We love Alice.
And there's so many things to accomplish, and people want to know when you win, as things come forth, what happens for you in the second term for Faith Office? What's your administration look like?
So, well, first of all, we're going to set that up, and we'll be talking to you and all of the people that we just met and anybody else that you think is appropriate. But it's important, and it'll be directly into the Oval Office and me, so we'll do that. No, we have to save religion in this country. I mean, honestly, religion is under threat in this country, serious threat, and we can't let that happen, because I really believe it's sort of the fabric of our country. It's the thing that holds our country together. And we can't lose it, and we're not going to lose it. We're not going to lose it.
And President, I know your time's limited because we're all going to go to the rally tonight. You've got a special invitation to go to the rally, guys. But we want to ask you a few more questions, and we've got Gary Bauer here, because if you just heard what the President said, that Faith Office will be in the Oval Office in the White House and directly reported to him, because that to him is one of the most important things to people, is that we remain very strong in all of our faiths. And we are so grateful for that, for you being a protector and a fighter for religion and faith and our freedom to protect. Gary, Amen.
Mr. President, right here in the front, sir. Hello.
Gary Bauer, right in the very front.
Hi, Gary.
Yes, sir. Great to see you again. Great to see you again. Particularly after last night when you turned Madison Square Garden into MAGA Square Garden. I thought that was fantastic.
Great night.
Yeah, sir. Everybody in this room, millions of people like them all over the country are already voting for you. They're going to vote for you 8 days from now. And the main reason is they love you, of course, but the main reason is simply gratitude. The things you already did in your first term. It's a Christian virtue to be grateful when somebody does something for you. So you deserve the vote of every Christian in America.
Thank you, Gary.
My question is about your second term, because one of the big issues right now that this loser of an administration is inflicting on us is they've taken the entire power of the federal government, the Justice Department, the Department of Education, and they're trying to smash young women by making them compete against men in athletics. And so these women are getting physically hurt. Not only that, but they have to tolerate going into a locker room or a shower or a bathroom with biological men. So they're losing their places of privacy. She also wants, as you know, Kamala Harris, to give surgeries to prisoners in our federal prison system and illegal aliens to change their gender and use taxpayer money. Sir, you've raised this dramatically and consistently when a lot of Republicans won't talk about these issues. What do you plan to do on this in your second term and when we see you after Inauguration Day?
So, and you know, it's almost, and Gary knows this better than anybody, it's almost amazing that we even have to have a question like that, isn't it? Because who would think that men should be playing in women's sports? If you would have gone back, let's say, Gary, 10 years ago, I think, but 15 years ago, the concept of men playing in women's sports, it would say, what kind of a question is that? That doesn't happen, does it? The concept of surgeries, they call it transitioning into, from a male into a female or whatever. It's so incredible that we're talking. And I like to say that we're the party of common sense, because to a certain extent, whether you're conservative or not conservative, it's like we're the party of common sense. I'll give you another example. Who would want open borders where prisoners from all over the world are allowed to come into our country, where criminals are bust into our country and we accept them, where murderers, 13,099 to be exact, over the last 3 years, are allowed to come into our country? That's what we're doing. It's crazy. They're destroying our country, but it's going to end on day one, Gary. We're not going to put up with it. All right? Day one.
So good. I know we only have a few moments, but Kelly Shackelford is here and has a question for you as well, of First Liberty.
Mr. President, first, I just start with 8 years ago, I asked you the question about judges, and you promised conservative judges. Thank you for fulfilling your promise.
Thank you.
The concern I want to ask about is, as a religious liberty group, I mean, all this weaponization of the government we've been seeing against religious freedom. You mentioned the FBI investigation of Catholics. We've got all these, we had the Navy SEALs case where they were trying to throw all these people out of the military because of their religious beliefs on the vaccine mandate. I just wonder if you have any plans to turn this around if you when you get in office, and to be able to do something to change things in the way they've been going.
Well, the mandate was a terrible thing, and a lot of good people were hurt very badly by, they just stuck to their guns, and that's it. And they ended up getting thrown out of a lot of different things, even beyond the military. They were thrown out of jobs and everything else. That was horribly handled by Biden and by some other people. But as far as overall, we have just plans to do it right. We're going to do it right. And again, that's the same kind of a thing. We can't hurt people, and we have to use sense. We have to use common sense. We have to use judgment, good judgment. We lost so many great people in the military. And they have a hard time getting people in the military. We lost so many great people because of the vaccine. If you want the vaccine or if you don't want the vaccine, but you can't be forced to take it. And if you don't take it, you're going to lose your job. And we lost a lot of people. So, we're talking already about that, where they come back and they get their full back pay, et cetera, et cetera. So we're talking about that. Thank you.
President, let's talk about Israel. You made promises. I always say promises made, promises kept. And Israel was a big one. 5 presidents had campaigned on that as candidates, but did not follow through. There were so many other things you did, from, of course, Iran, and basically defunding them and bankrupting them, to UNESCO, to UNRWA, to the Taylor Force Acts, to recognizing the Golan Heights as sovereignty and Israel the sovereign right to stand for themselves. Tell about the embassy, because that's such a story where everyone put you under pressure. What happened and how did you make that decision?
Well, I think I've been better to Israel I have been better to Israel than any other president by far. Thank you very much, everybody. As Paula mentioned, we did Golan Heights. We did the Abraham Accords, a big deal. Yes. That was incredible. Nobody thought that was possible. And if we were there, you would have had that filled in, maybe even with Iran, because Iran was broke. They had no money. We had sanctions on them. I told China, if you buy 1 barrel of oil, you can't do business in the United States anymore. And they said, we'll pass. And I said that to a lot. And all I wanted was Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. I just wanted, that's all I wanted. Very simple. You can't have a nuclear weapon. And, we are closer to a World War III right now than we've ever been. Between Russia and Ukraine, and the Middle East is all exploding and going crazy. We are really very close, and we don't have competent people running our government. They're incompetent people. And it's a very dangerous thing. But Paul is alluding to, because I told her the story one time, when I was campaigning, I said that we'll make Jerusalem the capital of Israel. And a big part of that is you're going to move the embassy. When you move the embassy, I guess it's semi-automatic, right? And so I was going to do that, and I was all set to do it, and I was being called, I guess 6 or 7 presidents promised, and it was promised without question. But then they never did it, and I never understood why. But I do now, because when I got to office, I was inundated with calls from very important countries and unimportant countries. Everybody was calling me, don't do it, it'll be bloodshed in the streets. Don't do it, it won't be good, don't do it. Anyway, but I was going to do it, and I promised I was going to do it, and I felt there wouldn't be bloodshed. I was right about that, by the way. But they said there'd be bloodshed. There was every bad thing. So I started getting a lot of calls because people were hearing that I was going to do it. And I don't want to say but who, but you can imagine, from the biggest countries, from the most powerful countries, I was getting calls from, and specific countries too, and would like to speak to the president. Would it be possible? And they said it was about Jerusalem and the capital, becoming the capital of Israel. And that means, they were going to try and talk me out of it. So this was on a Thursday, and I said, would you tell them I'm going to call them back on Monday? So good. Then on Friday, or whatever day it was, I announced that I was doing it. And I did it. I got it done. And then on Monday, I called everybody back. Hi, what's up? What do you want to talk about? And they said, oh, that's we wanted to talk. But by that time, it was already, it was out there, and there was no, I was told that the whole world was going to explode if you did that. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And importantly, I got it built. Once we were there, General walked in, sir, would you please sign the following papers? I said, what's that for? $2 billion to build an embassy. I said, $2 billion? Are you $2 billion? This is the United States. That's why Elon Musk is going to do a good job cutting costs. He was great last night. But I said to David Friedman, the ambassador, a very good guy, I said, David, is there anything we can buy there that's like we can renovate and fix up and have an embassy fast? Because you know that if you're going to have an embassy, they wouldn't have the embassy built for 25 years and it would cost a fortune. And they wanted to buy this site, which was not a great site, but it was a tremendous amount of money. So he calls me up the next day, he says, we have a great site. You know, we've been there a long time. We have a great site and there's a building on it. It'd have to be renovated and we can renovate it. And the bottom line is it was a much better site. We owned it already. We didn't have to spend any money. And I spent almost nothing. And we got it built in about 4 months. We renovated the building for less than $1 million. Think of it. So we saved $2 billion. And just a little cute story. A friend of mine is in New York, a very rich guy, a very big Wall Street guy, and he's got Jerusalem stone on facing the elevators in a big building in New York, very prestigious building. He's got Jerusalem stone. And every time I walk in, he said, he's Jewish. He's so proud of the Jerusalem stone. He said, Donald, this is before I was president. I don't know if I've been up there since. But he would always say, look at this. It's Jerusalem stone. After about 10 times, I said, you don't have to tell me it's Jerusalem stone anymore. So anyway, so now I'm in Jerusalem and I have to renovate a building and I want to do it quickly so I get the embassy open and we have it and it's done. And that way it's sort of more permanent. You know, it's not where they can change it and go back. So the contractors are all there. Everybody's around. They say, can you use Jerusalem stone? And is it very expensive? They said, no, it's cheap as hell. It's the cheapest thing. We have a lot of it. It's all over the place. So we did the whole building in Jerusalem stone. And it's gorgeous. You know, it's beautiful. It's known as such an expensive stone, but it wasn't expensive for me. So anyway, we did a good job. We got it built. We not only named it, we got it built, and it's a beautiful embassy. There's no reason for them to do another one.
President, there's so much we'd love to talk about economy, immigration, and you can talk about as much as you want, but the one thing I want to definitely leave us with, I've had this front row seat of watching you as a father and a grandfather. I love when Eric would tell this story. He'd be 5 years old, and you'd line him up to go to school. You'd say, no drugs, no alcohol, and no smoking. And Eric's like, but I'm 5 years old. And your children are some of the greatest people, and your grandchildren on this planet. And we know the importance of family and leaving a legacy. Many of us are fighting because we're moms, we're dads, we're grandparents, and we've had good lives. But we want to make sure that our children and our grandchildren have an inheritance and have the same freedoms we have. Talk about your family and how that works and plays out in your policy.
So a lot of people ask me about, raising their children. And I've known a lot of families, very smart families, very substantial families. It doesn't matter whether you're not, but some of these people are very smart and very, very rich. And their children were very smart, but their children never had a chance because they started drinking at an early age or they were on drugs. And I add cigarettes because I just added cigarettes. It's not a good thing to be doing. It's been proven it's bad. So I might as well add it. It's only about a second extra. You just say, and no cigarettes. What is that, a second or a second and a half, right? No cigarettes. But it's alcohol. Now, in those days, it was, I had a brother who was a great guy, handsome, best guy, best personality, everything. But he had an alcohol problem. And he would always tell me, no drinking. He was a strong guy. No drinking. You can't drink. No drinking. Because there were no real drugs. I don't think there were drugs at that time. That was a long time ago. And he'd say, no drinking under any because he had a problem. And he knew it was a problem. It's a hard problem to cure. Some people in the room have that problem. A lot of people have that problem. But it's a hard problem to get rid of. And he'd always say it to me, and I've never had a glass of alcohol. I never had a glass, literally. So, because of him. And if I did, I'm the personality type that maybe I'd have a big problem. I don't know. I mean, I think I possibly would. I'd have 3, 4, 5, bring them in, keep going. So I never had it. And, the great thing about that is I have friends. I had a friend at the Wharton School of Finance, and he hated the taste of scotch. Hated it. I remember it so vividly. and would go out and order scotch, even though he hated it. No, he said, you got to get used to it, because when you're out in business, because he wanted to be a businessman, when you're out in business, you got to be able to socialize, and scotch is the hot thing and all that. And he became a tremendous alcoholic. I mean, sad. And I remember when he first started, I remember at the first time he ever had a drink, very smart guy, he had a drink and he hated it. Oh, this is terrible. But he got to like it. And the one thing about it, I mean, I can speak to somebody who's never had a drink. I mean, literally, maybe over the course of a life, maybe a few zips, like just a zip of something that's nothing, but never had a drink, never had a glass of alcohol. And as somebody that has it or that never smoked, there's no longing to smoke. There's no longing to drink. There's no longing for drugs. There's no longing for any of that stuff. And that's for sure. But I know people that they drink, they're always, boy, it's a very hard thing. Even 10 years later, it's sort of a hard thing. And I always say to people, because it's a very competitive world, and these guys that would ask me oftentimes to be successful, what do I do? And by that time it was too late, because their kid was hooked on alcohol and hooked on drugs. Today probably drugs maybe is more prevalent than alcohol, but they're both a disaster. But I tell them, I say, and I used to tell like Ivanka, no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. And I'd say it all the time. She'd go, Dad, leave me alone. Oh, you're such a pain in the ass, Dad. Isn't that terrible to speak you? But she meant it with love. She meant it with love. But I drive them, I would really say it a lot too, because I've watched really smart kids, brilliant kids, get absolutely brought down. They never had a chance. They never had a chance because they got hooked. And you'll never get hooked if you never try it, if you never do it. So I don't know. To me, start them young.
Amen. And President, I know if you want to take a moment, you can, and just say final words to everyone, and then we're going to pray over you. And Danny Goki's going to come up and sing an amazing song that I think is going to touch all of us, and that will be our conclusion. But go ahead and take the liberty to share with what you want to share.
First of all, I don't even know if you know how important you are, because I'm talking to a lot of religious leaders, pastors and ministers and others. I think it's just an incredible job that you do. And sometimes you're not appreciated by the fake news media. Sometimes you're scorned by the fake news media. But I just want to let you know that the people think you're so important. I got rid of the Johnson Amendment, and I fought that very hard during my entire term, because they didn't want you to speak to people. And if you did, they'd take away your tax-exempt status. And I said, but these are the people that me and others want to hear from, and you're not letting them speak. What's that all about? And we're going to try and get rid of it permanently the next time. That's one of the things we want to do. We got rid of it during my term, but I'm going to put it in. And it's amazing that people would fight me on that, but they do. You have people that are against us, very much so, in politics and in our country. And sometimes I think maybe they hate our country. But you are so important. You do such an incredible job, and you keep the country together. And the more powerful you become, the better the country is going to be. So I'm just with you all the way. Thank you.
Amen. Will you let President Trump know how much we appreciate him and thank him? And I'm going to ask for those of you who've been called on to come up and pray. We're going to go right over here, President. We'll just stand here. And thank you for standing. We're just so grateful for all of you. Why don't you just grab the person's hand next to you, and we're going to pray together. As we come and just lay hands on President Trump, we believe that God not only hears our prayers, but he answers it. And I think it's amazing. We started in May, these groups, small groups, in May of 2011. And it started as a prayer group. And you came to me and you said, I don't like the way the country's going. And you said, I'm thinking about running for president. You said, what do you think? And I told you what I thought. And then you said to me, what does God say? And when you said that to me, I took that so serious. I called up many of the people who are standing behind you right now, and I asked them to come to Trump Tower. And that is where we had our first meeting and our first time of prayer. And look what the Lord has done. Amen. So we're voting, we're talking, and we're praying. Amen. Danny's going to sing.
Did they do it again? Did I? Nope, that's not me. That's the feed. So I think I'm still connected, but it's not me. Let's see what's going on. That's the feed got cut. The feed is cut. So I'm still live, I believe. Yeah, it wasn't me. Okay, so it was the feed.
Powder Springs, Georgia. President Trump opening up about his faith and speaking about...
All right, so they thought that was me again. Wasn't me. They cut the feed. Not sure why they cut the feed. Maybe they cut the feed for the same reason I often have to cut the feed. But it was not me. You saw that RSBN, who I pulled the feed from, they've cut it. So just... wasn't me. Wasn't me. So it wasn't me. So, I mean, as you can see, I just want to show you.
Hits like that. Just saying. But of course, we'll be going there live back to Powder Springs if we get that live stream back up and running.
All right. So it was their feed that dropped. Sorry. So I'll look to see if they come back and do the prayer. I'll hold for a second, take a couple of your comments. I'll see if they bring it back. But they lost their feed. All right. So it wasn't me. Wasn't me. Yes, that was. It's weird that they lost it just at that time, but it is. It's called "My America" is the song. "My America." So we'll have to find it. So here's what's going to happen. Trump is going to leave here. He was supposed to be at. Let me see what time it was supposed to start. The main event, the big thing. The big thing was supposed to be 6 o'clock. It is now 5:11. So it's about 30 minutes away normally, from what I understand, 30-minute drive. But this is 5 o'clock Atlanta time. If any of you have ever driven in Atlanta, you know that even with an escort...
How many of you just had an amazing time today with the president?
Going back to... Wait a minute, I've got a feed somewhere. Okay, hold on.
I think it would be good if you all stretched out a hand towards President Trump and unite our hearts together for him. We thank you, O God, and we come to you in the name of Jesus, who is Lord, Christ our King. We thank you that in your presence there is fullness of joy, that your right hand pleasures forevermore. And we thank you for our country. We love you, Jesus, and we also love our country. And we thank you that you've raised up a man, Donald J. Trump, to be a warrior for the Word of God and the wisdom that comes from God. Thank you for protecting him, for keeping your hand of blessing upon him. And we pray as you raise him up once again to be our president, that you would give him strength and wisdom and joy in the journey.
Father God, right now as I pray over President Trump, I thank you that you secure his life, his calling, his purpose, that no weapon formed against him will be able to prosper. And 1,000 will fall at his side and 10,000 at his right hand, but it will not come nigh him. We secure his family, his children, his calling, and everything that pertains to what you have called him to carry out. And I ask for divine visitations, that you would continue to give him your wisdom, according to James 1:5, that you would give him the mind of Christ, according to Philippians 2:5, that you said in Psalm 33, that blessed is the nation whose Lord is God. And we just thank you for our fighter of faith and for freedom and for religion, God. And most of all, for our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And we give you all the praise and all the glory. Pastor Jensen and Pastor Travis. Pastor Jensen, I know you'll close it out here and pray over him.
Last night you mentioned that the other team are vessels. But I want you to know, and we want you to know, we believe you're a vessel.
Amen.
You're a chosen vessel. That's a Bible verse in the book of Acts that said Paul was a chosen vessel. And we're praying for God's blessing on your life. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine on you. May the Lord be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance, his favor upon you, and give you peace and blessing, and bless this nation. And we pray it all in your name, Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Well, President Trump, we want to say thank you so much. We love you. We value you. We're praying for you. But I'm telling you guys, we've had a lot of praise and worship and a lot of great speakers and a lot of great information, and we're activated. Now, it just would not be a President Trump meeting without going out with a little bit of a dance. So here we go. Get your dance on. YMCA.
All right, so obviously I can't play that song, but watching some of these people dance doesn't look like Trump wants to dance. Looks like he's into it. He's been prayed over. He's been blessed, and he understands what the solemnity of this moment means. And so I'm glad he's taking it that way and not looking to actually dance right now. So here's what's going to happen. He's going to leave here. He's supposed to begin talking in Atlanta at 6 p.m. From what I understand, we're talking about a 30-minute ride from Powder Springs, where this event is being held, to the arena in Atlanta. So there's no way I think he's going to be taking the stage at 5:30. I doubt he'll be making it at 6 p.m. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up our show here, and then I'm probably going to look at about 6 o'clock going live instead of 5:30 tonight. So we'll basically get back in here and go over everything. But with him greeting everybody, talking to everybody, I just don't see with the traffic, even with the motorcade. Motorcade is your escort, but I don't see how rush hour in Atlanta they can basically split the Red Sea and get him going any faster. So maybe they can, but I don't know if they can. So in any event, we'll look at going live at about 6 p.m. I just saw this comment. I wanted to put this up, and I thought, okay, let's see how the media flips this. How about we say no? How about we say we don't want to see how the media flips this? How about it doesn't matter what the media does at this point? How about we just do us? Let them do them, we do us. At this point, they are going to do their desperate moves. They're going to do whatever they can do to try and vilify this man. Somebody had posted the Poly Market stuff, which I'll show you right now. She's dropping like an anchor, man. I mean, it just keeps going up and up and up. Let me show it to you real quick here. From when we started, it is now 66.4 to 33.7. He's opened up a 33-point gap on her. Absolutely spanking her at this point. That's pretty awful. So how about we don't worry about what the media has to say? How about we just take care of business and understand what we need to do, not what these idiots in the media. We know what they need to do. They need to infect you. The first part of this video, 3 hours ago, I told you what they were doing. I showed you what they were doing and how they've basically been trying to whittle people's minds into thinking that yesterday's joke was a big deal and was really going to matter. It's not. It doesn't matter. It's only there to get people pissed off, get people wondering whether or not it was a bad move. And I'm just over the bad move. The only bad move is for her to win, and we can't have that. What's it say? Up a point. This is so big. Wow, amazing. Yeah, the numbers are showing that. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm watching the feed here, and he's still, as of right now, I can show it to you. Hold on. He's still on stage. So from the time he leaves the stage, we know it's at least, by traffic, it's probably going to be a half hour. And so there's no, we know for sure 5:30 ain't happening. 5:30 is not going to happen. So I'll go live at 6 and see if we can't do some stuff, talk some news before he gets on. So 6 o'clock. Yeah, at this point, ignore the media. You got 8 days. You know where you stand. You know where he stands. He's doing a rally every single day, evening this week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think Wednesday are two rallies. Let me just double check that. Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, Wednesday we got 2 rallies. So there's no reason to listen to the media. Watch the numbers. There's probably not going to be any more poll dumps. They're done. They've completely. They usually don't do polls in the end of the week. Let me see if any of them have updated. But the last time I had checked, she was getting absolutely butt munched across the board. Let's see here. I can show it to you. All right, so let me pull it up so you guys can see it. He's still on stage. Not sure what they're doing. All right, so let's look at the polling before we go here. Okay, so if we look at the polling and let's just go. Okay, now you can see it. There you go. All right. In 2020, this is the national average, which is big right now. This is basically a week before the election. The national average, Biden was up by 7%. Let me make it bigger so you guys can see and see what I'm talking about here. Biden was up by 7.5 with a week to go. Hillary was up 4.6 with a week to go. Trump's ahead. There it is. The national polling average, he is ahead in the popular vote. That is basically almost an 8-point swing since 2020. If he wins the popular vote, if he is ahead nationally, it's pretty much over, and it's indicative of a landslide. Notice the last two. Clinton was at 4.6. Biden was at 7.5. Right now, in probably the last poll, I doubt there will be any more polls. And then again, as I've showed you, Rasmussen updated yesterday. CBS News updated the 25th. And then still you got all these things here that they've basically thrown in the towel. They're not going to do anything. But let's go look at the so-called battleground states. Arizona. This time in 2020, Biden was up 2.2 and Hillary was up 1.5 with a week to go. And right now, Trump's up 1.5. So he's outpolling his position back then. He's doing better than Biden even did back then. And there is no blue except from October 8th. This is why the media is freaking out. There's nothing blue here. This is all Trump. Let's go to Nevada, where they're doing some shady stuff, I hear right now. Biden was up 4.6. Hillary was up 1.6. Trump is up 0.7. And nobody is updating. Last update was Bloomberg, October 20th, a week ago. That ain't going to cut it. That's just simply not going to cut it. Wisconsin. Biden in 2020 was up 6.4. Hillary was up 6. So it was a solid 6-point lead 1 week before the election for both of those elections. What's it look like now? Bam, Trump's ahead. Almost all red. And if you notice again, they're not updating. They got nothing. They know it's pretty much over. Let me show you Michigan. 2020, Biden was up 8. Hillary was up 7. This is a heavy Democrat state. They've been kicking butt in the last 2 elections. What's going on now? Trump is up. He has erased the Democrat lead that Biden and Hillary had. And again, Insider Advantage is the only one that's updated. Everybody else just pulled out. So it looks like he's going to take Michigan. What does Pennsylvania look like? Pennsylvania, this time in 2020, Biden was up 3.8 and Hillary was up 5. And right now, Trump is up again. And you can see the dates yourself. They stopped polling. They got nothing. They got nothing. You're seeing this yourself. The last company that updated was on the 27th, which was yesterday, and it already had Trump up, and nobody is updating. The polling industry has basically shut down. North Carolina. And I hope this is really showing you something and why my confidence is where it is and why his confidence is where his is. Biden was up 0.7. Hillary was up 0.3. I mean, up 3. Trump, he's up. And again, nobody is updating. 22nd was the last time anybody updated. What are they hiding is what you have to ask yourself. That was North Carolina. And then Georgia, where he is today. In October of 2020, on this date in 2020, it was tied. And in 2016, it was Trump 2.5. And now it's at 2.3. And again, the 26th was Trafalgar, and they had Trump +2. And there's no blue on the map whatsoever. None. So when people are talking about it being too big to rig, this is why. Because there is no data, there is no metric that she can look at this point, including the national race or polls, that shows she has any way of pulling this out. So of course at this point the media is freaking out. Those are legitimate polls. They've been polling it for years and years and years, and people can simply look at the numbers and go, I can't help you. There's nothing there. And then, of course, when you look at Polymarket, which people don't like to look at, oh, that's just a betting poll. It doesn't really mean anything. Well, it means something when you look at the other ones. People are looking at the other polls and saying, well, I might as well go put my money over here. I mean, the Polymarket one, yeah, it can be game because people can be throwing their money in there and trying to influence it, but they're putting their money in because they're looking at the other stuff. You see, they're not, whether you're a horse race guy who bets on horses or things of those natures, or football, you look at the injury reports, you look at the past history, and then you put your money on it. The people who are betting on Polymarket are looking at this other data to generate their bets. They're not stupid. Somebody's not walking up and dropping $1 million and going, I don't know, it looks like it could be a toss-up. No, hell no. They're reading the data on the other polls. And when they see the other polls and they see what I just showed you, they see that people have backed off, that the pollsters have stopped posting. And even when they did post, he's ahead. And then now you're telling me he's ahead nationally on the popular vote? Oh, throw the money down. There's no way. It's already too big to rig. We're seeing there's something Trump has been doing again. Watch what he says. He knows what he's looking for, and he wants to see the lay of the land. Which question is he asking? How many of you have voted? And they all raise their hands. And then he goes, how many of you still haven't voted? Because that's going to give him an idea. What's it going to, did my people already vote and there's nothing coming on November 5th? Or have they overwhelmed the Democrats in the early voting, and I still got a room full of 50 or 60% of people who still haven't voted? That's where the difference is, because at this point it's like, wow, my early voters have come to play, and I still got a bunch of day of voters coming. Put all that together, and you bet on Polymarket, and that's why she's down by 30 points. 30. It's not even a race at this point. So that, and coupled with his internal data, she's toast. She's toast, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. So let me go ahead and address the super chats, which I must do. Then we'll give away the hoodies. All right, so super chats, here we go. Joy Kirkland, Barry, you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. Keep doing what you're doing. I love jokes from both sides. It's called comedy. Don't let them take that away from you. Don't feel bad about laughter. In the immortal words of Page and Plant, does anybody remember laughter? You know, if you remember what song that was, and when, Robert Plant said that, Does anybody remember laughter? Do you remember laughter? R-Dub, make America laugh again. Yes. Ruth McCurdy, with love I say this, your outro has possible seizure triggers with flashing colors. They might want to place warding before. I didn't think about that. Big Cat, thank you. I'm late today, but we appreciate the fanfare show. Thank you for tuning in. Dexter Roll, we live in a day and age where people get their little feelings hurt too easily. Keep doing your thing, Barry. We all in for Trump. And that day and age thing, it's been manufactured. That's not how it used to be. They made it that way. Patras, who gives 5 paid? I can't even read that, bro. Lisa De La Pena, Guam MAGA girl. Guam, wow, that's far away. Thank you. Wanda L, Nazi rallies, Roosevelt 1936, Kennedy, Carter 76, Bill Clinton. Yep. Belinda Block, the media just sinks further down the sewer. And they only want to drag you down with them. Don't allow it. Don't allow it. Just ignore it at this point, and definitely don't turn into Joy Reid tonight. Don't go there. Yeah, I mean, she's talk about toxic masculinity. Well, I mean toxic femininity, or maybe this. Never mind. Mamma Mia, so worried about the joke I didn't even notice. Brenda Stevens, I voted early. Trump fans all in. Gramps. There's a severe landfill problem in Puerto Rico, which has been highlighted by this attempt at humor. Puerto Ricans are in need of help with this real problem. See, that's the thing the media didn't talk about, did they? They wanted to stir shit up, but they didn't talk about the actual problem. Why is it a mountain of crap? Island of crap. Christine Engler, Benny had a poster on that gave me hope here in Minnesota. Maybe finally go red. Wow, like the majority of people in the state have voted the last 2 elections. Interesting. Kea, they were not mad until the media told them to be mad. It's true psychological warfare. As soon as you recognize that's what it is, then you can step back and just go, I ain't playing your game. I recognize that. Gina Duncan, the reporter said Springfield, Missouri, not Ohio. Mark of reality. Thank you, sir. On the tariff price increases, they need to explain the inflation since 1990. We've been getting undercut by foreign slave labor, and that's the only way they've been able to keep prices normal. In the meantime, the U.S. dollar has fallen to nothing. Ruth McCurdy, thank you, Barry. You teach us so much. You're like Trump, a smart dad who loves us enough to tell the truth. Such dignity as a rare jewel. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wade Nielsen, I'm sick of all these marshmallow men that can't stand upon their own. Grow a pair, people. Barry, thanks for all you do and really appreciate all work you do. And understand, that's not by accident. They want soft men. They want men all up in touch with their feelings. Check out the White Dudes for Harris. I mean, that's what they want. They want you to feel basically non-testosterone. Just the opposite. Vishu, Blazing Saddles, my favorite line. Excuse me while I whip this out. Yes, I remember that. Willie, thank you. Brian Reeves, Don Rickles was great when he was with President Reagan. Yep, I was looking at that today. I was going to see if I could play it, but I couldn't. Tommy Radcliffe. Hey, I saw your video earlier, Tommy. It was pretty cool. Where did it go? Afternoon. Yes, I did get your message. Well, I don't know if the message, but I saw your video with the guitars. Guitars look... You got some gear, bro. Got some gear. Gina Dews, Barry, what is the best way to cast my vote in light of the burning ballot boxes? In person. Show up. Best way to do it. Show up early. Juana Rios, Jesus is king and Trump is our president. Barry, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with some of these long shows. I feel like Rush at this point now, doing a 3-hour show. And then we got to turn around and then do another 2 hours in a little while. Suzanne, thank you, Barry, for all your hard work and bringing the election information directly to us. We all appreciate you. When going gets tough, the tough gets going. My pre-show at the 6 o'clock show is going to be something that happened with Vivek and CNN today. You'll love it. I'm thankful for your guidance. Thank you. Biscuit Boy, Barry, you're the best for working it for us. Thank you, Biscuit Boy. Nancy Jennings, the media are in my rear view mirror, left in the dust. Yeah, and when I show you what Vivek did, Vivek, whatever. You're going to tell by his attitude, which is the attitude I've been trying to get you guys to get to. Just like, I don't give a, you know what? I have none left to give. You guys are done. We're coming for you. So skedaddle. Wait till you hear it. Donna, speak those things that aren't as though they are. Whatever is kind and holy, whatever is righteous and good, think of such things. Thank you very much. Cyborg Allen, is anybody out there? Can anybody hear me? I can hear you. I know what song you're referring to. I know you're talking about The Wall. Pink Floyd. Actually, it was Comfortably Numb. I think that's what the song was. So let me go ahead and give away a couple hoodies. So just let you know, yes, you do not have to re-enter. If you've entered before, you are good to go. So I'm going to do 3 of them right here in a row. Let's do 3. And boom. Sherry R. Dixon. Hope you're seeing that. Sherry R. Dixon. She gets a hoodie. And it's going to make me go back in here and do live draw. And let's pick another one. Linda Foat. F-O-A-T. You're a winner. And one more real quick. Go to live draw. And let's what we got here. Sue Peters. 3 ladies. 3 ladies tonight. 3 ladies win. Love it. Thank you guys for putting your name in there. And just give Ashley time to get all this stuff boxed up and send them out. They're coming. People are getting them. So we just got backed up. But think of it this way. The weather is perfect for the hoodies depending on where you live at this point. All right, so we'll see you in about half hour or 40 minutes. Thanks for... Oh, by the way, wait a minute. Somebody... I do have to say this. And I always have to catch up. So there was a super chat that came in late yesterday, and the super chat was from, hold on one second, hold on, SB sent it to me, so I have to make sure that wait 1 second. If I can't find it, I'll do it in the next one. But there was somebody I missed. Oh, Mr. Berry. I think it was Tim Berry. No, it was Terry Berry. Terry Berry came in late with and I think Ashley was the one who told me. Terry Berry came in late and had a, just checking, make sure. Yes, it was Terry Berry. Terry Berry last night. I missed it. It came in late. Thank you very, very much. All right, guys, see you at 6-ish. Talk to you in a little bit.